Mama's been hurting, 'cause Daddy's been down. Ain't nobody been working since the mill left town. They got two youngins not 10 years old, with $200 left in his billfold. And a week's worth of groceries is the price of gold when your whole damn country's been bought and sold. Never there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get her to the other side and not let it be all she wrote. I'd love to live to be an old man, but God, you can take me a young one. Just don't let the land I love die so young. Of thee I sing, I've been flying low in my troubled mind. Get to digging me a hole my soul can't climb. It's the end of the world, but nobody knows, 'cause they all just stare at the trash on their phones in a land that's littered with many men's bones who died fighting for somewhere they could call home. Whenever there's been hard times, it's always made hard folks who could get her to the other side and not let it be all she wrote. I'd love to live to be an old man, but God, you can take me a young one. Just don't let the land I love die so young. Of thee I sing,
birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I am so sorry about that. Got the audio coming in loud and clear. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit pissed at myself because I was ready for that intro for hours. My wife and I, all night at dinner, I'm like, I'm going to fucking absolutely roast Nancy Grace, Ashley Banfield. I got videos lined up. They're going to make Bryan Kohberger trying on jeans. Guilt. Let's see their phones of them trying on jeans in the non-weirdest way possible. I don't trust me, I don't want to see either of them in that aspect. And you guys know what I'm saying, but it's like, I'm so sorry about that. I feel terrible. That crash was uglier than this entire investigation. The entire setup self-destructed. I had to restart my entire PC setup, the mic, all of it. I don't know what happened, but for those of you that have stuck it out, that are waiting, or that are now just catching me live, thank you. And, you know, I really didn't even debate if I was going to come back on live because, you know, I knew there was going to be less people. We're a few hours later, but at the end of the day, what's important is to dive into this with people that are seeing this in real time with me. So I just want you guys to know I appreciate you. And yeah, we're going to dive into it. It is what it is. It sucks, but here we are. And I want to go through again after giving my little spiel about how Bryan Kohberger took a selfie with his thumbs up, fresh out of the shower. He drove a white car. He studied criminology, and he breathed oxygen. He is the guiltiest man on earth. Now, what's crazy is that you start to wonder in your own life, what are things that you do in your everyday life that if somebody really wanted to have their way with you in the narrative, that they could pick apart, and if they put it out into the world news, you'd be effed. You know what I mean? There's so many things. It's terrifying, to say the least. And I don't want to sound soft when I say that, because it's going to end up being things that you would have never expected. Those are the things that would catch fire. Those are the things that the media would run with. Right? You call your mom at the same time every day. You take pictures, excited for your day, whatever it is. I'm not even defending these pictures per se, but I will say, guys, out of all of the pictures on Bryan's phone, they choose this picture. If you saw this picture and you had no background on it, what would you think? Would you think that somebody just committed 4 murders and this is a trophy picture? I hate to say it, but how much does a narrative influence the way you view this photo? People might get mad about that. So be it. So be it. I would say that if you put this picture in front of 1,000 people who had no idea as to what this case was, who this was, and believe it or not that many people pay attention to this case as far as everyday folk. Here on YouTube and the algorithms on social media, we all feel like everybody does. From my personal experience, not that many people are still looking into it. If they didn't know who this was, what would you say this is? Crime Tour said, I would advise a tan. He looks like he's going to church. Just finished a game of D&D. He stole candy from a baby. He looks sick. You know, goofy. But again, do you think that anybody in the world, I'm serious, I would, God, see, this is the thing with like hosting a stream where it's like how I would talk around my buddies, be like, I would bet you every single penny that I had. I don't think there would be one person, and I'm saying this in a joke. I don't think there would be one person out of this entire world, the whole world. Okay, I'll go that far. If you could do the Men in Black, like the and you had no memory, okay, I don't think there would be one person in the entire world that would guess this is a trophy picture for a quadruple murder. I'm serious. Does anybody think that one person in the entire world would verbatim say, that's a trophy picture for 4 people that he just stabbed to death in 7 minutes. No. Guys, think of that. There's no way. There's no fucking way. If somebody does say that, I would be like, you're a time traveler. You heard me say that. I wouldn't even believe that then. I wouldn't even believe it. Because, I mean, guys, this dude looks like a nerd. Okay? Let's just call it what it is. He looks like he would be really good at criminology. He looks like everything that they have described him in the news as without the nefarious aspect to it. Student. A little bit socially awkward. Quiet. Keeps to himself. But then you start throwing in murderer, stalker, incel, murdering for sexual pleasure. Does anybody see that? And to the people that might look at this and see that, well, I would say, you know what? Again, let's go and let's see your Snapchat photos that you have saved. Let's see your photos you have saved, and give it to the world press. Let's go find the weirdest one, and let's go put a caption on it, and let's see how you feel. Let's go have the photos of you trying on jeans and using the front camera to see if they fit you well. Oh, that's so creepy. For God's sakes. I mean, Ashley Banfield has been just a terrible reporter. That's weird. Okay? That's weird. I would say that to her, and that's fine. You know what? She's never going to see this. Maybe she does. If she does see it, Ashley, that's fucking weird. You commented on Bryan Kohberger's love handles. Okay? That's a fact. There's no way that if you were not getting paid by News Nation, you would say that. And if you would say that, well, I don't know if you would have the job that you did, because clearly you're able to be bought, you're able to be paid for, you're able to read the words off the screen. We see right through it. It's just like, come on, put yourself in a normal person's shoes. Are you trying to frame this guy, Ashley? Are you in on the frame job? It certainly starts to seem like it when you're putting a picture of this guy up in a changing room, seeing if his love handles hang over his jeans. Are you some kind of creep, Ashley? Ashley, you hiding cameras in changing rooms? It looked like you really enjoyed commenting on that. Seems a little bit sus to me. You know? Yeah, I agree, Amanda B. Deep down, I think she really loves him. She's obsessed with him. You know? It's just, it's weird, dude. It's weird because you want to know what's so funny? Is that if that was, look, I don't really care to argue this point because there's going to be some outlier that says, no, Birdie, I disagree. I genuinely believe the majority of people in here will understand what I mean when I say, if that was a male host doing that to a female, whether they were a murderer or not, it just wouldn't fly. Same thing with the roommates. If those were two male victims, or I'm sorry, if those were two male survivors claiming to be victims, they would be detained. It's not me playing the sex role. It's nothing like that. It's just like, come on. You got Nancy Grace saying that he's sitting on a cinder block doing the slow stroke, sniffing panties, whatever the fuck she said. Okay. And then it is what it is. I mean, this is a late night stream. I don't care. I'm letting it out tonight. I'm pissed about the fact that the 9:30 start time got delayed. And, you know, there's a time and a place to kind of let it all out right now. This selfie, if anything, if Bryan Kohberger has kept his mouth shut for everything else, I mean, come on, dude. You got to defend yourself on this picture a little bit. You got to just be like, hey, you're a little bit off on this assessment of a trophy picture, right? I haven't been outside at all. Okay. It's not that unusual if you're, going for your doctorate. Maybe you're reading a lot. You've been getting in shape. You wanted to see how a new pair of jeans looked. Okay, so be it. The funny part is that I don't know if people will understand the sarcasm and the entire point that I'm making. That's what's scary. People will listen to that and what I just said, and they will say, oh my God, Birdie is defending Bryan Kohberger's trophy picture. Shut the hell up. Like I said, you know what? How about this? You're so confident that that's a trophy picture. Put your entire 401k on the world. Anybody in the world could answer the question of what does this picture represent? If anybody in the world says that is a quadruple murder with a K-bar knife, if that's a quadruple murder with a K-bar trophy picture, everybody that bet against you would match it. You going to take those bets? You going to take those odds? No, you wouldn't, because nobody's going to say that. Are you shitting me? Nobody's going to say that. You got to be a little bit messed up to think that that's a trophy picture. You know? The other thing is this. I am not defending Bryan Kohberger. Okay. Bryan Kohberger is the vehicle for this. Bryan Kohberger is the person that exposed that 90 to 95% of cases don't go to trial because you are forced into a plea deal. Those are nationwide stats. Put yourself in his shoes. If he's innocent, which I'm not here to convince you of what is public information. I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to talk about it. It is on you, right? You're an individual. Think for yourself. Listen to what I say. Listen to what other people say. Listen to what the news says. Listen to what Keith from Dateline says. And figure out your own opinion. Stop blowing in the wind, trying to, what does society thinks cool? What should I say? What should I repost? Start thinking for yourself. Have a spine, have a backbone, have some morals, have some character. I do not believe that Bryan Kohberger has the physical ability to do what they said that he did. In the slightest. Okay. You go listen to the post-sentencing press conference. He has many photos like this. Called his mom at the same day. They don't remember if he had a burner phone. They can't tie him to the house. No connection to the victims in any way, shape, or form, including their family members. Okay. So let's think logically. Why would Bryan Kohberger take a plea deal then? Well, Birdie, don't you know? Innocent people don't plead guilty. No, they do. Very often they do. Because they get told if you don't plead, you're going to get all these charges. You're going to be cooked. But if you plea, you have a chance. Right? You go to trial, you're going to get the death penalty. But if you plea, you're only looking at 12 years. Okay, if you don't have money, if you got a shit lawyer, circumstantial bullshit that you're going to put in 12 people's hands, right? You got to make a business decision. And a lot of people will say that they're going to stand on business and say, I'll never plea on a crime that I didn't commit. Okay. Fair enough. I respect that. I think that there's something to be admirable about that. But that's only admirable in a system that is not corrupt. Okay? And the Daily Twin Flame, thank you so much. Birdie, did you see the new releases today with the wound descriptions? There's no way it was him. Every person was awake. So all that I've seen is that there was new stuff released. I have not looked into it. I was out to dinner and then I was prepping for the stream this evening. So I will be on, live tomorrow morning as well. But I really want to kind of get into, doing a live dig. I just feel so bad about that live cutting out earlier, guys. Like I'm not trying to, over apologize. I feel bad. It sucks. I was so hyped and excited and trying to do too much. Man, it just pisses me off. Shout out to Robin, one of my mods that hopped onto the stream in the backstage to help me get this all fixed. And I don't even know what happened. My computer was glitching and going out. But let me just show you guys a couple things. So one of the things that I was saying is this. And that is that this slide right here. Okay. I put that as the thumbnail on purpose. I think that anybody that is able to use their brain, that might be able to point out reasonable doubt. And I've said this the last 2 days. I'm going to continue to say it. Reasonable doubt in a courtroom is a guardrail in America. I can't speak for people outside of the States. In America, reasonable doubt is a guardrail. It's not a loophole. What do you think you know versus what do you know? That's why it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, okay? So why do I have this thumbnail? Well, behind the scenes, I've been doing a little bit of an experiment, a social experiment, one might say, an algorithm experiment. Any time that you put a thumbnail that says Bryan Kohberger is guilty, or if you put that into your title, and I'll challenge anybody that makes content to try this. Go ahead and switch it up from there's no way Bryan did this to holy shit, Bryan is so guilty. Go tell me what happens to your views. Use the same tags, use the same keywords, post at the same time. Okay? Go tell me what happens. And so I did this to kind of troll a little bit. Bryan is guilty of one thing, in my humble opinion. He's guilty of not screaming the truth, whatever it is, from the rooftops. His silence is deafening. And thank you, Kayla. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the other people too that said that. I mean, dude, it is what it is. I have one more Busch Light. I was telling Robin, I'm like, damn it, Robin, now I'm 4 Busch Lights deep. I can't even get it figured out. But cheers to everybody that tuned back in. Pinkies up. No, that's literally what happened, Sherlock. It's literally what happened. I've tried it on TikTok as well. Same thing happens. Okay. So now here's what I'm saying. I'm not doing this to be funny. Like, does it end up being comical? Yes. If you tuned in, you like anybody in here. I had asked this right before the first attempt at this stream cut out. Like, did anybody look at this thumbnail coming from my channel and get worried? Or did you guys know what was going on? If you knew what was going on, type a 1. If you were a little bit worried, type a 2. But I mean, it's hilarious. The game you have to play. You know, like, and that's fine if there's some twos. That's good. That's okay. That's okay. But what I'm trying to say is this. Bryan is guilty of keeping his mouth shut. He knows what's happening, right? We can all agree on that. Bryan absolutely knows. So here's what I'm going to say. I was going to play a video of Nancy Grace, but I think what I'm going to start with is this. Okay, here's what I'm going to start with. And that is, if I can find the, here we go. Okay, this is what I was going to show the other night. And here's what it is. Can you put Bryan Kohberger inside of the house? Yes or no? It's a very simple question. You can answer this with public information. You can answer, was he inside the house? Was his DNA exclusive? And did he have the intent? All of that with the ISP, the MPD, any public reports, and the court docs, you can answer these questions now. Okay. And like I was saying, what better way to answer the first question with anything other than the guy who's trying to send this man to prison for the rest of his life. Now, what's funny is I have this at six. What is the time that I have this at? 16:20. Okay, let me share this. Okay, I want you guys to listen to this. Can you put Bryan Kohberger inside the house? Can you put him inside the house? Let's go ahead and listen to Bad Santa here.
June of that year, the defendant, Mr. Kohberger, moved from Pennsylvania to Pullman, Washington, which is right across the state line from Moscow, Idaho, for the purpose of pursuing a PhD in criminal justice at Washington State University. The state's evidence would indicate that beginning July 9th of 2022, Mr. Kohberger's phone began connecting to a cell tower that serves the area of the 1122 King Road residence in Moscow.
Which there's only two, by the way. So his phone connected to a cell tower that serves the area of 1122 King Road in Moscow. Okay, there's two. That's it. Now listen to what he says. Listen closely. Why are you pleading to this?
That serves the area of the 1122 King Road residence in Moscow, Idaho. Now, I will acknowledge for the court and all present that there are many residences in that area.
Oh, yeah?
A dense population of mostly college-related occupants. Between July 9th of 2022 and November 7th, the defendant's phone connected to that particular tower during late night, early morning hours, 10 p.m. to 4.
And he says that tower, not the house. He didn't connect to the house Wi-Fi, everybody. He connected to that tower that serves Moscow. Okay? This matters. Okay? Because if this is you and you're not on the world stage and your ass got framed by some dirty cop, you're going to say, why didn't anybody say something? Well, we're trying to say something right now. Listen to this. This is ridiculous. This man is facing the death penalty, and listen to what the prosecutor, which, by the way, Bill Thompson, 33-year career. The number of years might be a little bit sus if you look into any kind of like Masonic bullshit, but 33 years. The jury is out, no pun intended. He's had 1 or 3 trials. That's it. Every other thing has been settled in a plea deal. 33 years, you've gone to trial 3 effing times at the most. Maybe just 1. Some people say 0. Either way, 3 decades plus, you've gone to less than 3 trials. Give me a break. And then you get in this and the world news, and this is what you say. Listen to this. Turn your volumes up and listen to this. This is crazy.
Connected to that particular tower during late night, early morning hours, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. on approximately 23 times. Now, I will acknowledge also, we do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122, but we
If I was Ann Taylor, I would be standing up and I would say, okay, this is off the table. What did you just say? Oh, you don't have evidence that his phone connected to 1122 or any of the residents? Oh, okay. We're going to walk her ass out of here. Actually, you know what? Bryan's going to be on a plane back home. You can't even connect him to the house? Give me a break. Guys, I'm not defending Bryan Kohberger. Put your own name right there. Put your own name in that seat. Who cares who's sitting right here? Put your name there and tell me if you're going to plead to this.
Now, I will acknowledge also, we do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122, but we can put his phone in that area on those times.
That's like, hey, everybody, I'm on the New York subway. We can put your phone in that area. You're on the back train car, but on the front train car, there's a murder. But you're in the area. What? Are you kidding me? You have to see the big picture. That's exactly right, Robin. Okay, so you guys just heard it. I'm going to play it one more time. We do not have evidence. Okay, listen to this. We do not have evidence.
23 times. Now, I will acknowledge also, we do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122, but
and you know that if he did, that shit would have been all over Amazon, all over Dateline. It would have been in the news everywhere. But have you heard one roommate say that they saw Bryan Kohberger? Any one of their friends say, oh, I know Bryan Kohberger? Any students say, yeah, he used to hang out at King Road? Anybody? Oh, he used to DoorDash there. Oh, he used to go pick up drugs there. Oh, this person went there. He would show up with them. Dude, come on. So the reason why I start with these three questions is, can you put Bryan Kohberger inside the house? We will acknowledge that we do not have evidence that Bryan Kohberger has any connection to 1122 or the people inside of 1122. We can't put him inside. Okay, well, where was the DNA found, Bill? Oh, the DNA was found inside the house. Well, how did it get there? You can't put him inside the house. Is there any pictures of his car? Oh, it's a white Elantra. Is it? Or is it a silver Ford Fusion hybrid? Where's the bug shield? What's his license plate? Do you see him in the car? Can you see him get out of the car? Can you see him walk into the house? I should not be able to defend this man in this type of case. This is the most simplistic question you can ask. Has anybody seen this guy walk into the house? You know? And I'm going to go back into the chat here. Nobody's NBA says, bro, I'm telling you, this is a stepping stone into violating our rights, privacy, our freedoms. They're going to be able to lock up who they want. Oh, yeah, for sure. Palantir and then IGG on the back end with Othram. Word Games is right, Z. Sherlock says, nah, I'm just paranoid seeing shit. I'm going crazy. Yeah, it wasn't meant to be this late, but we had some technical difficulties. Can I just, gosh, it's so hard to undo the brainwashing of the mainstream media. It's so hard. Okay. How many type of one, if they found, and if you know, don't, I guess, if you know, answer this, don't spoil it. And I'm not doing this to be facetious. I'm just curious. Type of one, did Bryan Kohberger buy Dickies coveralls? Type of one if he did. Type of two if he didn't. you would think, oh my God, he bought Dickies coveralls. No, he didn't. No, he did not. He did not buy Dickies coveralls. Christ. There was no receipt for it at all. That was what the news said. Now, is it a coincidence? Okay, if you've ever been on television, which I know from experience, when you're shooting a show, even if you're just doing one episode, you're there for 3 days, 3 days. You got B-roll, you got a couple takes, and then you got to sit there. They put you up in a hotel room, and they make sure that all the footage and the sound syncs up. So like the last day you're there, nothing's happening. I say all this because, have you seen the Amazon series? What is it, 3 parts? Do you know how much coordination that would take? All the B-roll footage, all the drone footage, all the editing, all the producing. And they just get to release that in the middle of a trial? No. I'm sure, everyone, it is a coincidence that 2 days after the plea deal, Amazon doesn't have to adjust their series on the Idaho 4 that they probably spent millions of dollars on. They don't even have to adjust that release date. It's just by chance, even though it might be illegal, never heard before evidence, never heard before testimonies. By chance, 2 days after Bryan Kohberger pleas, even though that would have taken how many months, how many people, how many hours to produce those 3 episodes, they don't have to adjust it. They can just release it right on schedule. They never adjusted their release date. They had it planned, and it ended up being 2 days after. So, same thing with James Patterson's book. I have that shitty book back there. And thank you, Don, for buying me that. But Amazon was giving refunds on it. Okay. It's just, it's out of control. So you can't put him inside the house. All you have to do is play Bill Thompson's, whatever it is. Bill Thompson's speech, we'll call it. His speech. His story. Well, then the DNA, is it exclusive? Well, it's YSTR testing. There's male B blood on the handrail. There's suspect 1, that's a 41-year-old male that is not Caucasian, that is a non-resident, that had 4 police officers surveilling him. And it's not Bryan Kohberger. They took 2 cigarette butts. He's a chain smoker. And they tested them again. They tested those cigarette butts against the mixture of blood on the knife sheath, which, by the way, let me just ask a very simple question. Because I usually don't go live at this time, so maybe there's new people tuning in here. Does anybody find it weird? There's like 10,000 photos of this crime scene. We've not seen the damn knife sheath at all. Have we seen anything that proves a crime? No, we've seen some dirty dishes, some unorganized pantry bullshit, a bunch of people that don't seem to be acting like 4 of their friends that they live with just got murdered. Okay, I'm not doing this to be a douchebag or a dick. This is about the 40,000-foot view. This has nothing to do with Bryan Kohberger, with the 2 surviving roommates, with the 4 victims, with any of their families. This has everything to do with, okay, they are putting this in your face. They're gaslighting you if you question it. They're gaslighting you hard. I would argue that there's people that are being paid to attack creators that question the narrative. And you could say, Bertie, you're paranoid. I don't know. I've said some pretty fucking crazy shit. And God forbid I say, hang on a second. The prosecutor himself You guys just saw the clip. He said they can't connect him to the house. It only connected to the cell tower that serves the area that is a very dense area of residence 23 times between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. How many residences, Bill? How many people live in the one of the 3 towers that a cell phone could connect to? Oh, okay. Okay. You know, out of the 180 something witnesses too in all the police reports, nobody finds it weird outside of not seeing a sheath. You ever seen anything about Bryan Kohberger looking sus in those documents? No. Like I've said, you see some professors pissed off that Bryan wanted to stay after class. That's literally what their police report was. They were annoyed that Bryan wanted to stay right up until their office hours ended. And they say, no, he was late for the female classes. He hated women. Okay. Is that an opinion? Is that evidence? Like, what does that have to do with killing 4 girls, apparently, at this residence? I'm not being, again, I'm not trying to be like facetious. I'm saying, what does that have to do in a murder case? It doesn't. So they've yet to find the murder weapon. We've yet to see the sheath. There's no motive. There's no connection to the victim. The timeline makes 0 sense. There's no blood. There's no DNA. There's no discarded clothes. There's no clothes. There's no Dickies coveralls. Bryan Kohberger's car. At what point do you see a bug shield on his car? Ever. But into the evidence thing, it does. Well, you can say, and I said this yesterday, Birdie, he's OCD. He was going to go on a cross-country trip. Okay, fine. He's OCD. So then why is it weird if he's cleaning his car? He's that OCD to put a bug shield on his damn car, but God forbid he's got a clean car and he details it. That's guilt. Do you see my point? I don't know if I missed a calling as a lawyer. I say that as a joke because there's no way that I should be able to ask these questions. And it tears apart how many millions of dollars of taxpayer money went into framing Bryan Kohberger. Or, as I've started to state, I believe, I genuinely believe Bryan Kohberger is an asset of the feds. People might disagree with that. Guys, 3,477 people have died this year as of October 13th or 14th on that Pacific Northwest Highway from ODs. Okay. You start thinking about Steve G saying, we're going to put Idaho on the map. How many people here heard of the Pacific Northwest Highway for the trafficking of drugs and humans, the Aryan Knights, the cartel? Whoever would have even thought of Idaho being a hub? Anybody? I sure as shit didn't. I thought Boise was a hidden gem, and I thought they grew a bunch of potatoes. You know, this case, I'm saying before this case, I would have never thought that one of the biggest white supremacist prison gangs is based in Idaho. And then what are the odds that 2 of the victims' family members ratted on that gang? It's a storyboard. It's a storyboard. You know, it's why is Hurwitz here? Why is the attorney general there? Why is national security involved in what should be a straightforward stabbing of 4 college kids by some loner, creepy, incel, serial killer, obsessed wannabe with a K-bar knife that had DNA on the sheath? Why would that have national security attached to it? Can we answer that question? Why are there 180 witnesses? You know, I started thinking about this. Why are there 180 witnesses? Does anybody have an idea? I'm curious if anybody knows why there'd be that many. Because don't forget, they told us Bryan Kohberger knew nobody. Watch Dateline. They told you the truth. He was creepy at a pool party. He was hiking by himself in a town that he just transferred to. Anybody have any idea why there might be that many witnesses that are random? I have an idea. I have a really good idea. Curious if anybody's going to say it. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat right now. Because you only have that many witnesses typically in a couple situations. Well, it's 180 witnesses they're going to call. And we don't know anything. See, I believe it's much simpler. You see, I'm going to take this approach that Bryan Kohberger was an informant for the FBI. Well, you can go back on my YouTube channel. You can watch my interview with Will. Believe him, don't believe him. Will texted me today. Will's going to call me tomorrow. I'm going to get Will back on stream, which is one of the very few people that have spoken out that they knew Bryan Kohberger. Okay. The first time that we had Will on, we had asked, do you think Bryan's a Fed or an informant? And he said he's not a Fed. And we re-emphasized an informant, and he paused. He said, no. Will called me about 10 days later, and he said, I have not stopped thinking about that question. Is Bryan an informant? I said, why? And he goes, because I never saw Bryan use. And I go, what do you mean? He said, Bryan was only ever along for the ride. And I go, yeah, I know you said that. He goes, no, literally, he would just come with me to pick up in Patterson. He would never use. Oh, almost like controlled buys. Almost like controlled buys. Again, the GGG or the GGD doctrine, the greater good doctrine, if there's an FBI informant that's undercover, for example, I hate that I'm repeating this a couple streams in a row, but this is important. Scott Payne, okay? Scott Payne was on Joe Rogan 2 weeks before he came on my stream. Scott Payne was undercover inside the Outlaws for years. He talked about how it is legal for the feds to fake pictures for a murder for hire hit. Okay, that's a fact. You can look it up. It's the greater good doctrine. Now, do they abuse it, as Sherlock said last night? Yes, they do. Is it the best for public safety? I don't know. But the reason why it's legal is a lot of these people, for example, if the husband puts out a hit on their wife, murder for hire hit, and it's to an undercover Fed, well, what the feds do is they go to the wife and they say, look, you got one chance. You got to play ball. We're going to take some pictures. We're going to make it look real. Why are they able to do that? Well, the people that are putting out the hit, they want to make sure they don't get effed over. She's got a tattoo on her low back. I want to see that picture of the tattoo. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever the fuck disgusting thing they put out. Okay? That's why they can do it. So what I'm saying is this. one guy that has spoken out saying that he knew Bryan, that he was there for the ride. Everybody thought he meant using drugs. No. He never saw Bryan use. Bryan then goes randomly, just as the NIJ is funding WSU and their criminology department with over $2 million, which the NIJ is the research arm of the DOJ for predictive criminal behavior in emerging adults outside of a classroom setting. The official doctrine actually says in a non-clinical setting. Okay, so predictive criminal behavior in emerging adults in a non-clinical setting. What are people going to do that are college-aged outside of the classroom when it comes to crime? That translate all right for everybody? Because that's verbatim what it says. WSU is an extremely prominent criminology department, everybody. Very, very prominent. Bryan Kohberger applied for the internship at the Pullman Police Department. He allegedly didn't get it. Although when the police department was asked, does Bryan Kohberger work for you? What does the guy getting interviewed say? He looks to his side, shits his pants, and he says, I'm going to have to talk to our attorney to answer that. Really? Well, what does that mean? You could just say, yeah, he applied. He didn't get it. Yeah, he worked for us. He did get the internship. No, he didn't. Or was it that, oh, wait a second. You guys have told us that Bryan Kohberger is such a really, really elite criminology student. He would never make these mistakes. Was he overqualified for a Pullman Police Department internship? Did they decide to put him undercover to do controlled buys? Maybe what he was doing out in Patterson in Pennsylvania with Will. Is that where the whole druggy narrative came from? Potentially. Maybe. And then let's say this. Well, what are the odds that right before the NIJ gave that money to WSU, that there was this, amongst many other things, this suspicious frat hazing death? Maybe it was not investigated the best. Right? What if those parents were not happy with the investigation into their son's death that they said was an accidental drowning, which was most likely waterboarding or some sort of hazing that went wrong? What if that got on the FBI's radar and they're like, hold on, what the hell is going on in Moscow? What's going on in this Pacific Northwest Highway? We got prison gangs. We got the cartel. We got how many fentanyl deaths? We got hazing deaths. What's the NIJ doing? Well, we have this giant mega corporation called Palantir that's doing predictive criminal behavior. What if we gave that money to WSU, the prominent criminology department? Now you can say, well, that's a coincidence. Is it? Because Bryan went there in the middle of that. And who did Bryan study under? Oh, Dr. Ramslin. And who was Dr. Ramslin? Oh, she worked extremely closely with the FBI. The only person to talk with the BTK, Dennis Rader. Is there a chance that Professor Ramslin recommended Bryan to go out there to look into their software, all the clouds, all that stuff? Was Bryan doing controlled buys? I'm not here to sit and rant and ramble on all this shit. Here's what I'm saying. In that greater good doctrine for national security, the public-facing documents, they can tweak them. They can lie about the timestamps. They can lie about the wounds. They can do all that under national security. People hate that I say that. People hate that that is the truth. You can go look it up yourself. You guys, 4 people stabbed with a K-bar knife that originated as a bayonet on an M1 Garand, which is meant for fucking trench warfare, by Frankenstein's awkward nephew, Watch the video of him shuffling into whatever store that is, Costco. I don't call it a Costco, whatever it is. I've made the joke. It's not a joke, but it's the truth. Bryan Kohberger is your last pick in gym class. Nobody's picking him to be on your team for flag football. The guy couldn't stab 4 Capri Suns without spilling a drop, yet alone kill 4 people in 7.5 minutes and get out after using a K-bar knife, one of the most intimate weapons that used to be used in trench warfare, and not leave a drop of evidence, except for trace DNA on a knife sheath, which trace DNA. Why do I call it trace DNA? Well, Ali Benevento, also on the stream. She worked on the Murdoch case. She tells a very, very profound story about a homeless gentleman who was passed out outside of a liquor store in California. You see, this gentleman was intoxicated, overserved, and the EMTs were called. Well, when the EMTs got there, what did they do? They put a pulse oximeter, or whatever the hell it is. I can't say it right now. Pulse ox, the thing that goes on their finger. Okay, they did that. They took his vitals. Well, he was admitted to the hospital, everybody. Documented, by the way. Literally in the hospital. Well, 2 hours later, there was a rich IT businessman about 15 miles away who was murdered. That same EMT crew that took the passed out drunk homeless guy to the hospital, oh, they were called to that scene 2 hours later, 15 miles up the road. Guess what they use on that rich IT businessman's finger to see if he was alive? Oh, the pulse ox. And once the investigation began, guess whose DNA they found underneath his fingers? The drunk homeless guy who's in the hospital 2 hours earlier that could have never done this crime. But guess who got convicted? For murder. The drunk homeless guy that was literally recorded going to the hospital. Because the trace DNA and Ali Benevento, the attorney, she says, I don't say touch DNA because in a juror's mind, touch means I touched it, that object's there. Therefore, if it's there, they must have touched it. They should have been there. No. It's trace DNA. Trace DNA. It's the exact same thing that is used against Bryan Kohberger. I could hand you my phone. You could grab my phone. I could take my phone back and hand it to somebody else. I could then take my phone back and I could leave my phone on a countertop, on a piece of paper, or maybe on a Zyn container. They swab this Zyn container, and one of the 2 people that I handed my cell phone to throughout the day, their DNA's on this. That's trace DNA, everybody. Bryan Kohberger was in the middle of the list of alt suspects, by the way, when it comes to the likelihood ratio. Dude, don't forget that. I'm going into the weeds on it because none of it makes sense. But when you zoom out from a 40,000-foot view, the only thing that makes sense is that this was a sophisticated operation, and it either went very wrong or it either went very wrong or went exactly as planned. Why do I say it went very wrong? Let me ask you this. If there is an FBI investigation into the Aryan Knights and the Mexican cartels moving drugs and fentanyl along that Pacific Northwest Highway through the Moscow-Pullman corridor, perhaps through college students, Greek life, and maybe you have low-level informants, maybe the daughters of people who have flipped on those gangs. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Maybe those low-level informants were supposed to have some sort of cover on them, even if they weren't informants. Right? Maybe there were people that got out of prison and they knew that their parents snitched. So to send a message, they wanted to go after their children. Maybe they had in Overwatch handlers that were circling 1122 throughout the night. Suspect vehicle 1, not Bryan Kohberger. Can't go into the weeds verbally. I would have to show you it. I have many streams on that. Sherlock Romes has many streams on it. Pavarotti has many streams on it. There's a lot of people that have videos out on suspect vehicle 1. It's not Bryan Kohberger. Well, let me ask you this from a PR standpoint. Put yourself in the governors, the head of the FBI, the police chief, the university president. Let me ask you this. What is the best public facing route to go? Knowing how much that university does for Moscow. Jobs, money, tuition, population. Well, is it, hey, everybody, we had 2 of the victims' parents flip on the Aryan Nights and they killed them in their sleep randomly? Is it, we had an FBI investigation going on to our campus because we knew that the Aryan Nights or the cartel had infiltrated Greek life? How do we know that? Well, the FBI's investigation led to this because 2 of the victims' parents flipped on those groups, and we were using your children as pawns. Or is the best public facing conviction saying that we had some loner weird ass incel, Bryan Kohberger, who knew nobody? He was a lone wolf actor. He used a knife. We don't know where the knife is. The only thing that puts him there is trace DNA. And he studied criminology because he wanted to see how it would feel. And he studied serial killers. Not like it was what every criminologist says and has to study. Well, what are you going to pick? Honestly, you tell me what you're going to pick. All the donors, all the alumni, all the politicians breathing down your neck. And to anybody that can't see this, well, let's talk about intent. So anybody that maybe is like, Birdie, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all. Don't care. Let me just play this answer. Let me just play this little clip here, because this is quite an interesting clip. Let's listen to this about Bryan Kohberger's intent. Okay, let's just listen to this.
That there was a reason that this particular.
What's your evidence to show that?
I'll turn that question over to the investigators to answer that one.
Well, I think Darren and I have the evidence suggests that there was a reason that this particular house was chosen. What that reason is, we don't know. We don't know who the target was, and we're not going to speculate on that.
My guy. What evidence then? What the evidence shows is that there was a reason this particular house was chosen, but what that reason is, we don't know. Can we back into that a little bit? What does that even mean? The evidence shows there was a particular reason this house was chosen. What that reason is, we don't know. Does that sentence make any goddamn sense? At all? I'll play that again.
Well, I think Darren and I have the evidence suggests that there was a reason that this particular house was chosen. What that reason is, we don't know. We don't know who the target was, and we're not going to speculate on that up here today. But we can tell you that for whatever reason, Mr. Kohberger chose that residence. Perhaps it's the location, layout, we don't know. But that's to the...
Could you imagine standing there in a jumpsuit? If this was not what I just took 20 minutes to explain. Guys, it's more terrifying if it's not what I said. Okay? If anything, I am hoping that it is some sort of operation. Because if it's not, and Bryan Kohberger is just getting bent over the barrel, showing the 50 states, guys, we're cooked. Fully. There's no helping us. There's no saving us. I hope that it's some sort of operation. Because if you were standing there in an orange jumpsuit, about to go get put into the brand new murder room that Idaho is funding, and let's say there's that little square TV, if there's I don't even know. I've never been to prison, obviously, but I've never even been to jail. Let's say that you're listening to this and you hear Tweedledee and Tweedledum say this bullshit.
The evidence suggests that there was a reason that this particular house was chosen. What that reason is, we don't know. We don't
know the reason, everybody. We can't put you in the house. There's no connection to the victims. Not on social media, not to any one of their family members. We don't even have the murder weapon. Guys, hello. I'm not weird for ringing the alarm bell on this. No murder weapon, no motive, no reason for picking the house, no connection to the victims. They can't tell you what it is. It has to be an operation. And if it's not an operation, then damn it, that's where people like me, people like you have to have a backbone and say, this is wrong. This is wrong. There has to be principles in this, in a court. I'm not even going to say like in this country. Like I'm not up here to, stand on some pedestal. But it's wrong. There's a particular reason, but there's no particular reason. It doesn't make sense. And guys, I'm not even doing anything other than playing the post-sentencing press conference. I'm playing Bill Thompson's words. So, am I the conspiracy theorist? Or are you just the dumbass? Because I'll take the latter on that.
don't know who the target was, and we're not going to speculate on that up here today. But we can tell you that for whatever reason, Mr. Kohberger chose that residence. Perhaps it's the location, layout, we don't know. But that's, to the best of my knowledge, that's what that statement likely led to.
During the Haley got third page too, there was a social media account that surfaced that has long had speculation that it was Bryan Kohberger. Can you talk at all about the Papa Roger potential connection, if any?
Right, there was no connection. There wasn't at all. We looked into every bit of it. We took a deep dive into it. We researched it. We utilized. It was not. It was not. Thank you. We can cut that off.
Is it possible that there was a second murder weapon used, not just the knife?
Is it possible? All the evidence shows and tells us that he used a knife, a K-bar knife, and that's the weapon we believe was used to commit all the murders.
Here?
It sounded like the Gonzalez family said that there was a second weapon that was used on Kaylee Gonzalez. Can you confirm that?
Out of respect for the families, that's something that you'll have to get from them. If they wish to share that with you, it'd probably be through them, not through us.
And one more question. You said that it seemed like he chose that house. There's no clues as to why he chose that house?
You know, after working in Moscow for several years as Chief Dollinger, that area is frequented by many, many people at all hours of the night.
You guys, can I just say something? One, I have family that's in law enforcement and military. Utmost respect for them. And they tune in sometimes. I've talked to them about this interview. Okay. This has nothing to do with people that choose a profession. This has everything to do with reading people. You guys, this looks like a guy who is standing in front of his classroom who didn't do any work on the class project and is giving these very professional, well, you know, I've lived in Moscow for quite some time, and as all of these people around me will say, it just, guys, we're talking about the world's biggest homicide case in a decade and a half. Okay? It's not about cops. It's not about military. It's not about anybody in authority. This is about these two people. Read their body language. Put it on mute and then reverse it. Or not reverse the sound. Put it on mute and just watch them. And then close your eyes with the sound on and listen to them. It's a great exercise to try to do. You tell me what your instincts say.
College is in session. So what Darren and I have surmised is that perhaps it's the old hiding in plain sight. There's lots of people.
Oh, the old hiding in plain sight. Oh my God. It's my second clown horn. And if Mrs. Birdie's asleep, I'm cooked. I didn't even think about that. But it's the old hiding in plain sight, guys. It's the old hiding in plain sight. You know what I mean? Don't you know? We knew about Bryan. He was hiding in plain sight. We just let him be on the run. Actually, we didn't let him be on the run. We didn't even surveil him, according to any police documents. We did trail him and pull him over 2 times for following too close. But we really had no idea then. Oh, actually, Bryan Kohberger, his name was only given to us as a tip from the FBI, which, to go back to my entire theory, I have a TikTok that I pieced together that I will play here. And I hope that this comes through clearly, because sometimes TikTok is a little bit quiet. One second here. And also, guys, I haven't done this. I know I had technical difficulties, so if you hate me from the earlier live, I understand. But if you guys could just quick press that like button. You know, we only got 200 likes. There's 600 people in here between X and YouTube. Pisses me off. Again, I'm done ranting about it, but we had like 750 something to start the last stream. I apologize, but please hit that like button. I'll shotgun a beer. If we get to 500 likes, I'll shotgun a beer right now. While I look for this. I'm telling you that we are all completely cooked if we do not do something about the narrative surrounding the Idaho 4 case. And this has nothing to do with Bryan Kohberger. To all you simps out there that are like, he's guilty, he pled, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. I'm not making this video for you then. Go spit in the tube. But let me talk to the people that still have their brains that are working. 90 to 95% of cases don't even go to trial. They settle in a plea deal. I'm curious how many people even knew that. With the IGG, they don't have to share chain of custody. You have a right as an American citizen to see how they linked you to a crime. Secondly, IGG, the neatly tied bow or the cherry on top, Othram Labs at CrimeCon just made Stacey Chapin their spokesperson. This has nothing to do with Mrs. Chapin, but look at what Othram
So the company, look at what they're doing. They're using murder as a PR rollout because now if you question Othram's abilities and the way that they did this case or any other case, you're now questioning grief or your victimship. And to put it all together, Palantir does predictive criminal policing, where they can do predictive behavior that's used over in like war zones. They're going to start doing that here in America. And Othram is now going to use IgG after the crime. So you have a pre-crime predictive behavior, and then you have IgG post-crime. We're all cooked. If they want to cook you, they're going to cook you.
And then the narrative surrounding the Idaho 4 is really, this one.
I'm going to do my best right now to explain what I think has just unfolded in front of our eyes in the Idaho 4 case. And if you're easily offended or if you're rattled on behalf of others, just get to scrolling now. You got to remember that Bryan Kohberger did not come into the picture until after a tip came in from the FBI. Let's piece this together. What if there was an atrocity that had happened in a small local town and the FBI was aware of this? They check in with the local PD. The local PD have nothing. And what if that wasn't the first time that there was some sus AF activity at that campus? We all know about a hazing death incident that maybe wasn't that well investigated. So what if when all that went down, the FBI was tipped off to the fact that Moscow and Pullman PD, they're not taking a lot of the tips and leads serious, whether they're protecting people, whether they're just corrupt, they're not doing a good job. Then enter Bryan Kohberger's professor at DeSales, who used to work with the BTK, which obviously the FBI was pursuing them, says, hey, we have this giant research grant on predictive criminal behavior. And it's out at Washington University, which is a very prominent criminology department. So that's how Bryan Kohberger gets out to Pullman, criminology student who's actually writing all about the justice system. A ton of cases never even get to trial because people are overcharged and then they're forced into a plea deal. They tell you, you're going to get all of these if you go to trial. We've not seen a single shred of evidence in a courtroom. Bryan would write about this. Go read his papers. They're impressive, mind-blowing. It makes so much sense what he's saying is happening in our justice system. So now go back to the tip that the FBI said, hey, we did this IgG thing, broke their own guidelines, but let's just say we got this guy IgG pinged on and it's Bryan Kohberger. And rather than investigating it and having it lead to nothing, we just watched how they made it fit that tip that came from the FBI. If you listen to the prosecution, you listen to the investigators, they say there was a parallel investigation with Moscow PD and the FBI, and they did not communicate at all. Now, Bryan Kohberger, they've planted that narrative seed where he's going to be unalived in prison. What if that happens? Or what if he is protected? Again, this is why I got my tinfoil hat on, and it's WITSEC. Then he's unalived. Could you imagine how sobering it would be if after the fact, they had to come out and say, we had the wrong guy the entire time? It would wake everybody up to exactly what this man's papers were about, which is that our justice system needs trials. You should not be overcharged and settle with a plea deal.
And I made that because, look, I'm not fanboying over Bryan Kohberger. A lot of people can't wrap their head around the fact that what are the chances that what Bryan Kohberger was writing his PhD papers about are exactly what's happening to him as the goddamn NIJ is funding the same research grant? And then there's national security on top of all the drug busts for the last 5 years on the Pacific Northwest Highway with prison gangs, with cartels, with people ODing left and right. Oh my God, you're some conspiracy theorist. Am I? Am I? No, it's not a coincidence. Okay. That is logistics. That's infrastructure. That is, what do you call it? Oh, that's corruption. That is bought and paid for. That's gangs. It's drug trafficking. It's way beyond Bryan, as Elizabeth says. Like, guys, everything that I said there, I put every single fucking receipt on the page. Every single one. I'm not here tooting my own horn because that TikTok that I made, whatever that was, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. Okay. You can't, how do you argue with that? How do you argue with that? Instead, are you going to say Bryan Kohberger pulled off a Jason Bourne timeline and he started on the top floor? Wasn't worried about the victims on the residents on the bottom floor running out and yelling for help. No, he did it so fast. And he actually, according to Amazon or Dateline, I can't even keep those two documentaries straight at this point. They're literally scripts written on bath salts. He sat down in a chair. He sat down in the chair, took a smoke break, sat in the cuck chair. You know, that he had time to do that. Time to clean it all up. It's just a coincidence that his the SNP and the YST, or I'm sorry, the SNP doubled in size too when it came back with no chain of custody for his. So it's like, is dude a patsy or is he a fed? Right? Is he a patsy or is he a fed? Now, Detective Mowry says, pull up this picture. I don't know if I'll be able to find that dude. Oh, yeah. I've seen this picture. Well, that's a little weird, isn't it? You can absolutely be a patsy and a fed at the same time. And maybe, yeah, to Ty's point, if not a fed initially, guys, I'm sorry. Ann Taylor deserves to have her license revoked for even having to go to post-conviction. You could say corruption, family threatened. Guys, you have every freaking agency of the federal government in town within hours. Okay? Tell me the last time that you've seen a president put a post out about a stabbing and the plea deal about how there's nothing. Hate or love Trump. That has nothing to do with it. In general. Why is a president talking about a homicide in a little college town that was apparently the most obvious victim ever? You know what I mean? That should raise people's eyebrows. Oh, wait, hang on. Is it because maybe a couple weeks before, Pam Bondi is standing on the White House lawn talking about how one of the leaders of the Sinaloa cartel was taken down in Eugene, Oregon, where they found the white Elantra that people said had nothing to do with it? You guys, you got to understand. Donald Trump is not sitting there watching Idaho 4 news. That is like, again, the guy he tweets and he posts crazy shit. We all get that. He's briefed on that. He's absolutely briefed on that. Well, who would he be briefed on by? You know what I mean? The whole point that I'm saying is this. The case makes no sense. It's the most obvious open and shut case, yet they're following him in prison. They're leaking footage of him in prison. Are they trying to like convince us after the fact he's actually in jail? They have his complaints. You know what I mean? Now, Discord Dawn pointed this out to me. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna start with this. I want you guys to listen to this. This is crazy. If you guys didn't know this, well, the FBI, the greater good doctrine is just a bunch of bullshit. They would never put somebody undercover. Oh, go look up Greg Scarpa Jr. Oh, the FBI let him commit murders for them. Oh, and they framed innocent men to go to prison so that he could stay undercover inside the mob.
Why in hell is anything related to Bryan Kohberger's case a matter of national security? Our government had an FBI, an asset from the FBI who was working for the mob as a hitman, and they allowed him to continue to do murders and even helped frame a guy who didn't commit a murder so that the guy that they had on the inside of the mob could stay inside and they can keep building their case against the mob. Put this towards the Kohberger case. If there's any truth to the rumors that this had to do with drugs, then some confidential informant may be working with law enforcement agencies to bring down some kind of big, industry. And if they do, they have shown in the past they will lie, help fabricate information to keep their confidential informant from being exposed, because that's going to be important. So now the question is, when you start getting into issues of national security and you get into all this unprecedented gag order, it suggests that there is somebody involved with this crime, either an assailant or one of the survivors who's an inside government informant, who has been a confidential informant and is being protected. They're willing to let somebody else go down for it in order to keep the bigger target on their radar and not blow the lid on something bigger.
Somebody's watching me. It's my
That was hang on. The ADHD ab sign fell. Yeah, there might be a ghost in here. We're moving. I can't wait. All right. And then I want to play. So real quick, how many people and hey, if you guys are on X, I'm gonna end the stream on X. Come over to this channel here. I'm gonna put this on screen here. If you guys are on X, come on over to YouTube. I'm gonna end the stream on X. Has anybody, how many people in here watched me over on TikTok? Type of 1 if you did. I'm just curious because this one, if you were around on the TikTok days, this one's gonna blow your mind, dude. Yeah, you're right, Christina. You mean Twitter. I finally got used to calling it X. Okay. I want you guys to watch this real quick. And before I play this, I have to take a leak quick. I will be back in 2 minutes. There's 326 likes. If we could have 500 when by the time I get back, that would be wonderful. BRB. God damn it, Jeff. Name one thing that you've done that says you're trying to figure out the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, I'm nervous on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa. But I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm hope. So many days have passed. I wait around for things to change, but change has not come fast. I'm asking all the questions, but then I question them. Like, what's the point of living, existing when you can't see a God in flesh? I'm looking for the answers, they say to pray instead. I think I'll find them one day, but with a helping hand. I know that it's not easy, but I believe I will. Yeah, I'll get over all my fears and really conquer everything. I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got.
All right. So if you have followed me on the TikTok days, without giving too much away, Officer Gunderson has this body cam footage. This gentleman here, I'll make this full screen. I want you guys to listen to this gentleman's voice. Tell me if, for whatever reason, it sounds just a wee bit familiar. Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I'll start from the beginning. Wait to where we get sound.
Hi there.
Hello.
I'm Sergeant Gunderson with the Moscow Police Department.
Okay.
We're investigating a crime next door.
Yeah, I got a vandal alert.
Okay. Did you happen to hear anything last night at all?
It's actually quieter than usual for a Saturday night. So.
Okay.
You know,
Nothing.
usually they have parties over there. But it was kind of quiet last night. Usually
Okay.
if it didn't.
Okay, nothing out of the ordinary.
No. Notice anything last night?
Out of the ordinary, just college kids walking in the street.
What times about did that all happen?
I left for work around
You stay.
10.
Why is the time blurred
somewhere
out?
between 10:20 and 10:30.
Last night.
Could you take the door? I think something's burning on the stove. I smell it.
Did you guys? What time do you get off work?
7:30 usually, but I got off a bit earlier, so like 7:15ish.
Okay, you didn't notice anything peculiar on your way home or
No.
anything?
I took the dog out this morning, and the only thing that I noticed was there was a bottle, a cork for wine, and 2 pairs of panties in the street. So that was
Okay.
it. So.
You know, who talked about bringing over a half bottle of wine? And the first person to get that right, I will crack the last Bezo here for in honor of them. Who said something about a half bottle of wine or bringing over wine to them? Curious Cat. You were on it. That's crazy. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. You know what I'm saying? You got a guy who says, I didn't get home for how long? And then you have these people that are like, oh, it's just college kids. You know, it's quieter than normal. Nothing ever happens in Moscow. Ever. There's noise complaints every other night, but there's a freaking quadruple murder with a knife. Multiple stories, multiple people. Yeah, who says panties like that? Other than Patrick in SpongeBob. The panty raid.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your
Something's burning on the stove. I smell it.
Did you guys, what time do you get off work?
7:30 usually, but I got off a bit earlier, so like 7:15ish.
Okay, you didn't notice anything peculiar on your way home or anything?
I took the dog out this morning, and the only thing that I noticed was there was a bottle, a cork for wine, and 2 pairs of panties in the street. So that's
Okay.
it. So, I think there was less cars parked there at the house over there than normal.
Okay.
It's usually packed.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Can I chat with you for a second?
Yeah.
Hold on. First off, if I'm a cop and I go knock on a door and somebody opens their freaking window like that, I'm like, okay, I was here to investigate something else. Now, sir, step outside. Let me see your hands. The fact that you opened your window like that is one of the most suspect things that we've seen. I mean, for God's sakes, you're more suspect than the roommates that said they saw a firefighter with bushy eyebrows with a bow and arrow that shot firecrackers. You opened your fucking window like that, bro? Did you just do that? Could you imagine the feeling that probably went through that guy's like gut when he did that and he saw it was a cop? He's probably like, oh my God. Yeah, nothing happens in Moscow, everybody.
That's what's happening.
I don't know why it keeps going back to the beginning.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
Dude, are you shitting me? I'm putting this on YouTube.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
You too. Yes, sir.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Are you kind of aware of what's going on in the neighborhood?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So we're just going door to door, seeing if anybody.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
You too.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, sorry about opening it like a tweaker.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good.
What's your name? Nice to meet
What's
you. I'm Sergeant Gunnish from the police department. Well, we're just conducting an investigation in the area, and was curious if you heard anything overnight that was peculiar or out of the ordinary. Or...
Does this line of questioning sound a little bit different than the others, everybody? I mean, I'm not trying to point out the obvious of the USMC. This has actually been brought to my attention. And that's why I just listen to this guy's voice. If you've been with me since the TikTok days, just listen to this guy's voice and remember this is 2022.
Hello. Hi there. How you doing?
Good.
What's your name? Nice to meet you. I'm Sergeant Gunnish from the police department. Well, we're just conducting an investigation in the area, and was curious if you heard anything overnight that was peculiar or out of the ordinary or anything like that.
I know I was up till about 2 a.m.
I'm sorry?
I know I was up till about 2 a.m., but I don't recall hearing anything. I guess I did have my headphones and I was listening to music pretty late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks,
Yep.
man. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Take
you're
care.
welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
You too.
That's the weirdest interaction I have ever seen. You guys, listen to this one more time. I'm not even, again, if I were to close my eyes, that was my thought exactly, Crystal. Okay. This sounds like the shittiest role play I've ever heard in my life.
Hello. Hi there. How you doing?
Good.
What's your name?
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm Sergeant Gunnish from the police department. Well, we're just conducting an investigation
What's up?
in the area, and was curious if you heard anything overnight that was peculiar or out of the ordinary or anything like that.
I know I was up till about 2 a.m.
I'm sorry?
I know I was up till about 2 a.m., but I don't
I had headphones in.
recall hearing anything. I guess I did have my headphones and I was listening to music pretty late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Take
you're
care.
welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
Hive. I'm biting my tongue right now. I've seen better acting in the shittiest pornos I've ever watched. Okay. And I'm not trying to be weird like that. That is the most rehearsed, scripted bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Hello. What's up? I had headphones in. Guys, give me a break. Give me a break. You got 4 kids dead. I was up till 2, but I had headphones in. You're good. Just got to check the box, either because this is rehearsed or we already know who did it. So we're really not investigating it. Yeah, nobody got timed out. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure like I've just been doing my thing tonight. Seeming how this is like the second attempt at this live. But yeah, nobody gets banned or timed out at all. Sometimes I think people do that because they hate that you actually can come into the hive and you could say things and you could actually speak your mind in here. I'm actually convinced because I have a number of comments that are like, my comment is deleted. And what's so funny is like, I'll go and look for their first comment and I see their first comment. Or I don't even know if they left the first comment. There's only one way you're getting banned out of this chat. And for example, I banned Jeff H one time based on principle. Arguably the hardest crash out I've ever had on a live. The other time that I've banned somebody was on TikTok. Okay. I've banned 2 people ever since I've been doing lives. And the first person that I banned said that they wished that it was my wife and I inside of the King Roadhouse. That's how fucked up these people are. Okay. Anything that I've said based on court documents is nowhere near what that comment was to me. You know, it's one of those things where I'm like, see, I got this switch that I can flip on when it comes to, okay, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to kick you out. But then there's, like I said, there's this switch that I'm like, see, now you're talking about my wife. See, now you're not just like talking shit to me. You know, now I'll fucking like die for her type shit. And I'm not trying to sound like a psycho. But you know, there's just a line you don't cross. And you know, that's just like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I used to not ban anybody. Well, that's the person that got the rule. You know, and you don't say that, like, have a problem with me. Oh my God, this guy is pointing out inconsistencies in the court documents and he has a different opinion on body language. I wish him and his wife got stabbed to death in that house. Yeah, you're a sick fuck. You know what I mean? Like you are, I can just picture what you look like. And you would get snapped in half. And now I'm going to a dark place. Just remembering that, you know, it's like one of those things, Hive. I'm just going to play the rest of the video because honestly, I don't even know what else to say. It's one of those things, you know, I've had people troll. Hey guys. Okay, look. I say this humbly. I've been doing this long enough where I've seen everything. I've said the Hive is battle hardened. I don't give a single fuck if you think that what I'm saying is crazy. Not a single one. I don't. But what you also have to understand is like, there's people that have tuned into the Hive that agree with me, that have access to tools that are probably able to look you up. Allegedly. Okay, like IP addresses, where you work. and I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, for example, on TikTok, there's a lady who her entire shtick is that she's a therapist. That license hasn't been active in 4 years. And if you're watching this, hi. I'm sure your employer has reached out to you about that. Their quote was, wow, you've really dug yourself into a deep, dark hole. Okay? You don't fucking talk about somebody's wife. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're a little fucking crazy. And you're weird. You're clearly down bad. And like these other people, okay? Do you guys think that we don't have the same access to these tools? Do you really think that we're just that naive that we're just gonna sit here and take it and not look into the people making threats. You know what I mean? The difference is that you're hiding behind a screen to talk shit. We're not hiding behind a screen because we're being ourselves, and we're fighting for truth, and you're fighting against it. And you're the people that are completely okay with the way of the world and the direction that it's going. You are a simp for the system. No spine, no morals, probably no friends. I don't like to be an asshole. But sometimes you have to put people out of their misery. Okay? And when you're sorry enough to wish that somebody was inside the house of a quadruple murder with their wife, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, as a man, you just can't let that go. You know, it makes you a little bit fucking crazy.
You do.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, so we're conducting an investigation in the area. You guys are probably already aware.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything out of the ordinary last night?
Did not. Nothing. That is no gunshots or anything like that.
Whoa!
Freaking me.
Yeah, okay, this is the most staged shit I've ever seen in my life. You guys hear anything out of the ordinary? No gunshots. That's for sure. No gunshots. I can't. No gunshots. That's for sure.
In the area, you guys are probably already aware.
One second. Let me just remind everybody of this too, by the way, since you're in here. So how weird is it that that guy just out of the blue says, no gunshots, right? He made no mention of anyone being stabbed. All of the victims were double tapped in the house. You guys tell me if this sounds like 2 gunshots in rapid succession. And now let's not forget about what we hear in this enhanced 911 call. And then to hear it from the family themselves.
Somebody went in and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot last night. And Kaylee, somebody went in and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot. I was like, what? And I just threw my phone. I started screaming. I started telling everybody to call Olivia and to get all of her roommates on the phone. And I started calling Maddie.
He made no mention. So we could now add this clip to that video. Oh, there's.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, so we're conducting an investigation in the area. You guys are probably already aware.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything out of the ordinary last night?
Did not. Nothing. That is no gunshots or anything like that. Freaking me. I don't know. Somebody said to somebody who I heard from that that it was gunshots, but so I'm kind of weirded out. because I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Where did you hear that from?
Oh, my sister. Yeah, I don't know. She's been talking to people and she's, I think, got the vandal alert, and so she texted me and just to make sure.
Okay. But didn't hear anything out of the ordinary. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Are we blocked?
I can't even let it play.
In here right now.
You guys are welcome to leave and come back. Just there's
I
going
was
to
coming
be.
back with my car because I left earlier, and I saw that there was like a cop car blocking the.
Yeah, we're just trying to limit the amount of.
Down there.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to leave and come back. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, Sergeant Gunderson with the police department. What's your name? Okay. Nice to meet you. You probably got the vandal alert.
Yeah.
You probably understand what we're doing. You hear anything odd last night or this morning?
No, I was actually curious as to what was going on today because I wasn't sure. So, I wasn't here all night, so I personally didn't hear anything that was going on. So.
Okay. What time did you go to bed?
Probably around, I'd say 1.
You guys, this has to be scripted. This has to be. Let's call a spade a spade. Everybody answers their door within 2 seconds. Everybody answers their door within 2 seconds. I didn't hear gunshots. Somebody texted me saying they heard gunshots. Somebody texted me saying if I'm okay. Yeah, you got Officer Farva. Tracy. That's Super Troopers. Still, same thing.
Okay. What time did you wake up?
I think it was probably around like 8 this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hi, good.
Good. Shane with the police department. How are you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Okay. What's your name? Nice to meet you, John. So you go to the U of I?
I don't.
Okay. Well, we are conducting an investigation in the area.
I heard.
Okay. Did you hear anything out of the ordinary last night?
I did not hear anything last night.
Okay. Were you here all night last night?
I was. Oh,
Okay.
Fiddlesticks. Hey. Sorry, I should have shut the door.
No worries.
Do you mind if I talk to you outside?
Yeah, no, that's
or
fine.
I can throw her in an office or
Yeah,
something.
no, you're fine.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything last night. I was home all night. Nothing out of the ordinary for me.
Okay. What time did you go to bed?
I think I went to bed at maybe 11.
Okay. What time did you wake up?
Woke up at 9
Fiddlesticks.
today.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Take care.
It's such a joke.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, good. Sorry to bug you.
What's up?
Do you go to the U of I?
No.
Okay. Well, we're conducting an investigation in the area.
Okay.
Guys, can I just ask you, how many people, when a cop shows up to your door unexpectedly, just say, "What's up?" Like, no, okay. You know what I mean? Like, this is hard to watch. This is terrible acting.
I was just curious if you heard anything overnight or
No.
anything like that.
No.
Were you here all night last night?
No. I worked late. Got here late. Went to bed.
Okay. What time did you get off work?
Like last night, I got off work around 12. Stayed there till maybe like 1.
Okay.
Got home around 1:32.
Okay. You went to bed after that, or? Okay. What time did you wake up?
A couple hours ago.
What's that?
A couple hours ago.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
It's actually a gorgeous cat.
Hey there, Moscow Police Department.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
What's your name, sir? Apologize, I got a phone call. Make sure it's not one I need to answer. Just a second, I apologize. I'll knock on your door here in just a second. Hey, what's up? We're doing okay at the moment. We're doing some canvassing right now, so.
Okay.
Um, Well, if you want to call Eric and Corbin, might need a spell doing they're doing the crime scene log stuff. So just security, they might need a break.
Okay, I'll call them.
All right, thanks, man. Hey guys, which apartment do you guys live in?
Right here.
Okay, I'll come chat with you in just a second. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Are you a student at ULI?
Not currently.
Okay.
Well,
Well, okay. So we're conducting an investigation next door. Just curious if you heard anything last night, saw anything peculiar last night, anything like that.
I was working pretty late.
What time did you work?
How many people work late? And how many people give the answer that start with,
I got home at like midnight,
Okay.
15ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty dark. You know, usually there's music and stuff, but
Sure.
it was pretty dark, pretty quiet. I didn't see anything crazy.
Okay. And then what time did you go to bed?
Like 3:30ish.
Okay. Did you hear anything odd before going to bed or anything like that?
Not that I'm remembering.
Okay. What time did you wake up?
11:15, 11:30.
Okay. And perfect. I appreciate it, man.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Hi there. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys are students?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got the vandal alert. So
has anybody else noticed that it's a little bit weird that when they knock, everybody in that apartment is at the door? Do you know what I mean? Everybody, like, all parties are like expecting this knock.
we're just conducting a neighborhood canvass, just making sure if anybody heard anything, saw anything last night at all.
I did not. I got back from the corner club at 11:30 with my boyfriend, and we didn't hear anything.
Okay. What time did you guys go to bed right after that? Or
12:30.
I'm not the boyfriend. I was in Spokane last week.
Okay. And then what time did you wake up?
My boyfriend went hunting at 5 in the morning, so he left around then.
Okay.
And so he's on his way back.
Pause. If I'm this chick's boyfriend and I'm watching this, I'm like, hang on. I left to go hunting at 5. Who is this guy? Talk about like, hang on. I got up to go hunting. Maybe to go get us a, whatever's in Idaho, deer, elk, moose. And who's this guy? Is he wearing my Idaho sweatshirt? Look at these two lovebirds. I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? I don't live here. Well, where's your boyfriend? Oh, he left to go hunting. What time? 5. Wow. Poor guy.
What's your boyfriend's name? If I give you my card, can you call when he gets...
yeah, he's almost so.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just be hanging around, so...
I just talked to him on the phone and he didn't hear anything either. But
Okay.
I'm sure you can talk to him.
Well, I'll give you my card anyway then. If that's the case, you know, if he... I'll just have him give me a call anyway. Alright, sorry, talk to him. Best number to get directly to me is this cell phone number down here. Shane Gunderson. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hi there. So we're conducting an investigation next door.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything last night?
No.
Okay.
Can you tell us what happened?
We're still trying to kind of piece everything together, so I don't have a lot of information, and I couldn't tell you if I did have enough. So, you guys didn't hear anything last night at all. Do you guys have do you guys have a neighbor here?
We don't know them.
Okay.
Or actually, I think someone does live there, but we don't know them.
Okay.
We've never spoken to them.
What time did you guys get home last night?
We were home the entire day.
Okay.
Oh, last night?
So that's true. At about 9 o'clock, we went out for snacks and we came back at about 10 o'clock.
Okay. You guys go to bed after that?
Yes.
What time did you wake up?
8:30.
Okay.
8:30
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, guys. That's all I got for you. So.
Okay. Here's my entire thing. What is he doing? What is the purpose of this? Is he checking a box? It seems like box checking. It doesn't seem like he's looking for anything at all. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like he's looking for anything. Now, I have one last thing, and I just want to play this one more time here. Okay, listen to this guy's voice.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
You too.
Listen to this guy's voice.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good.
What's your name? Nice to meet you. I'm Sergeant Gunderson from the police department. Well, we're just conducting an investigation in the area, and was curious if you heard anything overnight that was peculiar or out of the ordinary or anything like that.
I know I was up till about 2 a.m.
I'm sorry?
I know I was up till about 2 a.m., but I don't...
All right. And now, back in the TikTok days, I had this guy call into my stream. Okay. Giving a disclaimer here. I think you're legit as far as like
nothing like that.
So a little bit of a background. This guy has never been on a TikTok live. This is his first time that he allegedly says he's ever come across my profile on live. Okay. And he gave Maddie and Kaylee a tour of the house. Oh, and his mom owns the rental property company that owns 1122. Okay. If you haven't seen this clip, it's pretty wild.
Immediately donated it to,
if it's legit or not, but Go
I
ahead.
don't know how I can prove it to you, but I swear on my children that I'm from Moscow. I can tell you the owner of Team Idaho Property Management. You can look it up on Google to verify.
I believe you. I mean, I'd have no reason to and also Phoenix and I did like this good cop, bad cop thing. So if I seem like a bitch, I was the good cop. Okay. Other than the names weren't right when you said it. Kaylee. I got it. And I get it.
Yes. And I was living probably half a mile away when all this happened. I've lived in Moscow most of my life and know 90% of the police. I know the judge personally. I know the county clerk.
And Kenny, when you say those girls, which girls are you referring to?
Michaela and
So that's weird, right? Oh. Did we lose him? I think you're on mute. And
Did
Kenny,
he say? Oh, did he say Kayla?
hang on. Let me just say too, Kenny, the reason for the hesitation is because I'm getting constant requests for that. And so most times I'm not sure if it's legit or not, but
I don't know how I can prove it to you, but I swear on my children that I'm from Moscow. I can tell you the owner of Team Idaho Property Management. You can look it up on Google to verify.
I believe you. I mean, I'd have no reason to not. Other than the names weren't right when you said it. Kaylee. I got it, and I get it.
Yes.
Like you probably weren't expecting to get called up and talk. I totally get it. So what can you tell us about this house? I'm going to try to zoom in on this here.
It's an old house, man. It's a really old house. The owners lived out of town. They didn't live in Moscow at all. They just leased it. They gave it to us, and we had leased it. We had been doing it for probably 5 or 6 years, I believe. And they wanted nothing to do with it. As soon as that happened, they immediately donated it to the U of I, and U of I wanted it gone. It became a stain on the campus, and it became an unwanted attraction. I mean, there's still people that drive by it almost daily, I would say, just to gander.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny, can I ask you a quick question about that property management? How much are they charging, or were they charging each individual student for a rental like that?
Man, I don't remember. I mean, it goes up every year. So they're responsible. It doesn't matter if one person pays 90% and the other 3 pay 10%. It's just long as the entire amount is given. And then I couldn't tell you accurately. I mean, I'd just be guessing.
Like only one person rents it, and then they all have
all
to
4 of them are on the lease.
Oh, gotcha.
All of them are on the lease. And if one person is unable to come up with the rent, the other 3 are responsible.
Oh, got it. Okay. And any tunnels that you know of, any secret hidden rooms?
There's no tunnels, nothing like that. The only tunnels in the area is the steam tunnels that are on campus, and they're a good distance away from that house. So there's no tunnels, nothing like that. I mean, there's a lot of crazy conspiracies going around this case, and I can tell you.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So that's interesting. I look. I don't know if there's tunnels or not. It seems that this is one of the pictures, if you can see that, that has really stirred up some attention online. Like that's a latch, and it just seems like. So also to give context, this was from TikTok. So the screen sharing capabilities were not the same. What would that lead to? Like, I mean, not that I'm expecting you to know, but it's like I could see some speculation around that.
So, like I said, it's an old house. Those cabinets and stuff were installed not when the house, I mean, years later after the house was built. So those are newer than the entire house.
So maybe they leave that for access to some circuit or
Something.
breaker.
But I'm telling you, I know for a fact that there's not tunnels. There's not. I've been underneath the house. I've seen the foundation.
So when you heard about this, give me like your first 48 hours of hearsay or.
So Moscow is a really quiet community. I mean, there is some drug problem, but it's a lot of either A, college kids, or B, locals that just have drug issues.
Try to say rug without the D, just for.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I apologize.
I don't know if it'll be kicked, but I don't want to. So,
a lot of locals with drug issues or college kids who do what college kids do. And so, and as far as like violent crime, the majority of violent crime is a DV. And if it's not DV, it's bar fights. And so this was something huge. I think the last murder was 10 years prior, and that was at a Wendy's. And I remember that too.
Was that related to college kids? Was that?
Nope. It was some guy who had a mental breakdown. He was not taking his meds. He murdered his mom, I believe, or murdered one of his family members, and then went to the Wendy's and started shooting. And yeah.
So how often, and I guess chat too, if you guys got any questions, like someone's asking you if you know Adam, the bartender, I'm assuming.
I mean, from the so the main bar I went to is the Alley. I didn't really go to the Corner Club a lot because it's a college bar and I'm older. I'm in my mid 30s right now. And so and it was always, especially on Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturdays, it's packed. I mean, it's shoulder to shoulder. And so trying to go in there and get a drink, it's tough. And so
can I just say, looking back at this, the odds of this happening are so crazy. Again, this was random. He's never joined a live. And if you go watch the full clip, he's never joined a live. I think he actually might still say it. This is the full interview, but I don't know when it is. He randomly came across scrolling, just so happens to live a couple houses down. We did some digging on it. He accidentally shows his face with his license. Was out of the country for quite some time. Did a GoFundMe because he had some injury. It's very sus. He knows everything about it. His mom owns the rental, like property rental management company. Doesn't own the house. Owns like the management company for the house. He's been underneath it. He knows there's no tunnels. He gave Kaylee and Maddie a fucking tour. His point of calling in was I think I describe it in the interview is I was like, dude, I'm in sales where I'm like, at this point, I was like, I know you're not letting me let you off this phone call. You know, like how when someone's trying to sell you on something, I'm like, I do this on a daily basis, what you're doing to me. It almost seemed like he was trying to hustle us, like a pool game hustle. I'm gonna play stupid. I'm gonna play bad the first couple games, and then I'm gonna say, let's put a couple $100 on it. And then I'm gonna be, the best pool player in the bar. That's what it seemed like. And it took me a little bit. Okay. This was again, I had no idea this was going to happen. This was happening live. I tended on TikTok to be, the good cop, just as the host. And Phoenix and I had just started doing live, so I'm still kind of like feeling her out. I didn't, it's a really raw interview. It's a great interview, but it hits different watching it now after the fact.
Oh, I mean, if you would give me a last name and he's a local, I probably know him. Or if I don't know him, I know someone who does.
Okay, I'm just going to put you on the spot. And obviously, dude, I appreciate you being legit and saying that, and I think Phoenix would too. We've had trolls in the past, but I think you're legit as far as like the eye test or the voice check or the voice test, if that's even a thing. But I want to know, what's the general consensus of the local?
He's 100% guilty.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I have my suspicions. I mean, your name is Alpha. Steve talks to Alpha. You know, tell us something that we can go back and say, yeah, this guy's legit.
Okay. Judge was my judge when I got in trouble.
What'd you do?
What did I do?
So now I start to think, okay, if this is an operation, like, are you playing some sort of role? And I have a tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day that's going to blow people's minds.
I have several MICs, and I have a disturbing the peace charge. That was back in 2017 was my last arrest. And so I spent time in Latah County Jail too.
And did you go to college? Were you part of a?
I went to U of I for 2 years, and then I transferred and went up to Coeur d'Alene and finished off at NIC.
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene's nice.
Do you
know
Steve Gonzalez? Goncalves?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Do you by chance knew anything in regards to what happened to Kopaka?
He was military, right? And he was over in Pullman. And I think that they're 100% different cases. Nothing related at all, other than the fact that somebody died and he was in the area. I think he got home from overseas, and like so many veterans have in the past, had a lot of mental health issues. And it was ultimately his downfall. I don't think it had anything to do with this Bryan or anything like that. I mean,
allegedly he did work in the IT industry, and he allegedly was security at one of these colleges.
So WSU is over in Pullman, and he might have worked there. I mean, all the girls went to U of I. They're the two largest schools in a very large radius. I think other than if you go down to Boise, BSU, or over towards Seattle, are the only two schools that are bigger in size in the area.
So what convinced you 100% he's guilty?
I mean, phone data. I don't think the touch DNA is enough on its own, but I also, Moscow doesn't have any reason to try and want to, frame somebody. Well, the Moscow police officers, I know them. I know you can look up there. I went to school with Ryan Schneider. If you go to the Moscow Police Department, Ryan Schneider was in my graduating class.
So
he's a sergeant on the Moscow Police Force.
I've heard of him. So since you know so many people, what about Brent Payne? What do you know about him? You know, he was in the 82nd Airborne. He was a Ranger. Kopaka was a Ranger. Do you think maybe they knew each other?
Possibly. If you get two guys who are Rangers, and that's a very tight-knit community, if you get two guys that are Rangers in an area that probably doesn't have a whole lot of Rangers, yeah. There's only one VA in the area.
So was Payne's brother. Payne's brother served on the 82nd Airborne, 4th Division. But I will say this, if there was a connection, I think this whole connection was Kopaka. Kopaka knew Kohberger. Kopaka knows Payne.
How can you say that Kopaka knows Kohberger? Other than that they both worked in IT, which is a huge field.
Okay, so who moved there first? Was it?
How can you ask the question back to Phoenix that confidently? Is my question.
Kopaka or Kohberger that moved from Pennsylvania, where they both were, to Washington, and lived not less than how far away? 85, 75 feet.
Yes, and pretty much shared a parking lot. And I just want to interject. Props to you guys too. Just saying, like, as far as so people can hear over, it's just like let the point get finished. So I and Alpha, is it Kenny or Kennedy? I tend to agree from Kopaka and Kohberger. I feel like they had to have known each other, but I'm interested to hear on why you think, outside of just IT being a big thing, but it's really not that big of a city, and they live so close. They share a parking lot. Like,
I've lived in Moscow my entire life. There's other people that have lived in Moscow their entire life, and we have never met. It's not that small of a city. I mean, the majority of the population is students, and so every 4 years, another 50% of the population changes. And so there's lots of people, and still, I mean, say Moscow is 30,000 people. Every 4 years, 14,000 people move in and out. Still, not knowing somebody in a 14,000, 15,000 group is not a huge thing to not be possible.
Would you say? Oh, go ahead, Phoenix. You got it.
You know, and we're just speculating. We don't know for sure, but that seems to be the big mystery. Was Kopaka tied to any of these people, any of the police department, any of the feds? And nobody seems to know. This guy is like mysterious guy. I'm a veteran. I'm not saying that he did this, but what if he was on contract? He works for the government. You know, there are.
For what reason?
Did you know this about Kohberger? That in high school, he wanted to become an Army Ranger?
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to become a police officer too. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that probably was bullied a bit, wanted to become more of a badass.
So is it possible that that's the kind of things that he gravitated to, the people in those types of areas?
Absolutely, it's possible.
The specialties, and how in the heck did he get in that area?
I mean, so WSU has one of it's a D1 school.
Right. It's a small area of people. Why would someone of that caliber want to relocate to that specific?
Now listen to which, by the way, all right, I'll type this guy's username into the chat. You say it in your head quickly, and you tell me how disgusting that is. You just tell me how gross of an individual this person is. And he was called out on it, and he said, "I think it's funny." Okay, just read that out loud quickly. Okay, so this is the guy we're saying, and then he's gonna fall back on this answer.
I mean, so WSU has one of it's a D1 school.
Right. It's a small area of people. Why would someone of that caliber want to relocate to that specific area? I mean, if I could go anywhere in the world.
So, can you explain what do you mean by that caliber?
Well, it's a smaller town. It's like
what do you mean by his caliber? That person of that caliber.
You know, he's ex-military.
It's an effective strategy. What he's doing here. It's deflective, though.
He has a Purple Heart. He knows people.
I mean, my dad's ex-military. My dad has a Purple Heart. He's been in the Moscow area most of his life.
But you just said yourself you know half of the police department.
You're right, because I've had a lot of interactions with them.
But not only that, I get your point. But can you understand? There has to be some common connection, and it seems to be the most mysterious person in all of this. If you're looking at the big picture. Now, I'm not saying that he was. I'm just speculating that it's possible.
It's possible. But you guys are all thinking about this giant conspiracy, but you go down to the basic of it. For what reason? Why did they want 2 or 4 or however many they intended or he intended to originally murder?
So
why?
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Have you been watching any of Birdie's videos?
No.
Have you been on any of these lives besides today?
No.
Okay, Birdie, go.
Okay. Like kick him?
No, I didn't mean that.
Jeez,
I
Alpha
meant-
Kenny, come back up, dude. I'm sorry. I thought Phoenix was like, give his ass the boot. She's like, so you haven't been on any of the, you know, the lives, whatever. And so when he's like, Birdie, go. And I was like, oh, she means to kick his ass. So I literally just kicked this dude out of the chat immediately.
So
Why?
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Have you been watching any of Birdie's videos?
No.
Have you been on any of these lives besides today?
No.
Okay, Birdie, go.
Okay. Like
Just
kick
so-
him?
No, I didn't mean that.
Jeez,
I
Alpha
meant-
Kenny, come back up, dude. I'm sorry. I thought. Oh,
I
come back
meant-
up, bro. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disconnect like that. My bad. Please.
I meant because he said conspiracy.
Yes.
I wanted you to go and show him and talk specifically because we've almost got 500 people in here.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important if you just tuned in, you see the topic Idaho 4 breakdown, but you need to know the logic.
Yeah. And sorry, Phoenix.
Yeah, and
like-
then I heard him. I heard what Birdie was talking about, and I heard you guys starting to go into some. I mean, in my opinion, pretty crazy conspiracy theories.
You know what? And first of all, I give you props because, dude, I look back at this. I give myself coaching. Okay. I got a clown horn my ass. This is like when I'm brand new to streaming on TikTok and I was just a little pussy. Because now it's like I wish I could go back. You know what I mean? I wish I could go back to this. And I'm like, oh, I give you props, you know? Like, I don't know. It's this also, doesn't it look weird too? Like, maybe it's just me. This is the same room that I'm sitting in there. This just looks completely different, the entire setup. I don't know. But yeah, it was brand new. I had no idea what I was doing. I still have no idea what I'm doing. You have articulated your point back on a live that you unexpectedly got called up for. And this is what Phoenix and I ultimately try to do, is have conversations where it's okay for people to disagree with us. And I'm not trying to sound like a cornball when I say that. I say that pretty much every night. So I will give you props on that. Now, if I could go down kind of the first little tidbit of like this rabbit hole, you might want to call it, or as you would say,
Yeah.
like conspiracy, I would ask just a couple like kind of leading up questions to it. And it's like, would you say that in Moscow there's a you've said there's a rug scene both on and off campus? Would you say that there's regular intervention with the police for the frats that's not just underage drinking? And
No.
you wouldn't say there's like a bunch of fights, they've never been under investigations?
I mean, no.
Okay.
Well, so I think the biggest like thing that Moscow is known for and is becoming more known for, that is kind of a stain on the community, is there is, in my opinion, a cult that's trying to take over the town. It's the Christ Church, and if you go to the Moscow subreddit,
Chat.
that's
I've heard this before.
This was right when I put out my Rite of the Twins ritual, which is banned now on TikTok, which sucks. But you could see, like, look at the look of pride in my face where I'm like, chat. That was before the Hive was even the chat. That's how early this was.
all they're talking about. But again, Doug Wilson, who is the pastor of the Christ Church, I mean, he's an idiot. I mean, he believes in women being subservient. He wants, I mean, pretty much 1920s America to come back as far as women and their role in a household. He doesn't want them working. So that's what Moscow is dealing with right now.
How long has this been going on there in the area? It's not the first time I've heard this.
So they really started to become more prevalent within probably the last 10 years. And within the last 5, is when they started making national headlines. I think Vice News did an article on them.
Have you?
My
sorry.
father, his ex-wife was a member, and she is very outspoken about how awful the church is. She has a podcast that she talks about. I forget the name of it, but I could find it out what it is.
Is there, so outside of like just like what you were talking about with like how they would treat people or the women, like is there a violent aspect to it? Like are they full on cult blood ritual
Again,
sacrifice?
so I know people that are members of it, and they're the most amazing people. They're super nice, but again, I think a lot of the people that are in this cult are unaware of all of the hate and misogyny that their leader is spewing.
So how does this connect to the Idaho 4?
I don't believe it is at all. I'm just saying what Moscow is known for.
Okay. Well, then
Moscow is trying to move past the Idaho 4. That's not what Moscow wants to be known as.
And I can see your point being a loco with that. I totally understand that. I get it.
Got it.
And now you got go ahead, Phoenix.
Why don't we go into the funding? I mean, maybe if he understands the bigger picture,
yeah,
then maybe he can have a more informed decision and make an educated guess based off of information.
Yeah. And I mean, Alpha, if I call you Alpha Kenny.
Yeah.
Is that something like, are you okay with me walking you through this right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. God, it's so hard to like listen. It's so hard to like listen to myself. Not that you guys care about my own coaching, but I wish rather, and I'm not saying that to like discredit it. I didn't know what I didn't know as far as, you know, hosting a stream. If I could go back to this and just re-question him, I'd be curious if we would be able to find, this Alpha Kenny, you know. I think back and I'm like, damn, dude, I was just, shout out to Phoenix for this. I mean, like I said, this is one of Phoenix's best interviews from a good cop, bad cop standpoint. But I was really doing my best to just try to get answers out of him. And I do that sometimes when I'm like new to a situation. I kind of like go into almost like a sales mode of like, oh, you know, the more that they like you, the more they'll tell you. It was my thought process. But when you watch it back, I'm like, damn, there's an opportunity to press them more. I have a bunch of notes that are all random here.
You're good.
So,
you might hear my kids in the background, but
that's all right.
Please continue.
Okay. Oh, and also he says you might hear my kids in the background. Listen to what language they speak, by the way. So
Data will come.
So this is one of the things that I thought was interesting. Anybody recognize that language? First person to get it, I'll finish this beer. Because I need another one. Anybody recognize it? Oh, did Tony get kicked? I feel like Tony was being Tony. Might have been being rude, but sometimes maybe Tony's having a rough night. Tony reminds me of Detective Mowry. He gets a couple a night. Who said it first? Angela? Is that the first one? No, Essie got it. Portuguese. Was he? Okay. Well, okay. I trust the Hive on that. Tony, if you're watching this on replay, I don't even know what to say. Sometimes they're funny. I don't know. I didn't see them all. If you guys could see my side of the screen, I could see like 4 comments at a time. That's it. So they fly by.
Data.
And what that is so let's go back to Bryan Kohberger's past. Bryan Kohberger, he studied criminology at DeSales University. Criminology, there's a difference between criminology and criminal justice. Criminal justice, you study the system, the police, right? Criminology, you study how people think.
Criminology is the study of criminals.
Yep, it's a study of their psychology. And so like I'm personally a believer that Kohberger's survey, while may seem weird, I can see why somebody who's only one of two people that gets recommended for an internship from his professor who worked extremely closely with the DOJ and the FBI with one of the most infamous serial unalivers, the BTK. She co-authored a book with him and is one of the only professors to have a direct tie to him. And actually, when the Idaho 4 went down, the sheriff in the BTK's, the sheriff in the BTK's daughter, wherever she lived, went and approached her and said, how wild is it how eerily similar these cases are?
So,
dude, I forgot about that. And I just watched the BTK thing that came out on Netflix. I forgot that the BTK's daughter was approached by the local sheriff in her town about how similar the Idaho 4 and the BTK was. And then you got Ramslin, who worked with the FBI. That's probably looking into how criminals think. Hence why Kohberger was doing this survey at DeSales. I forgot about that.
BTK was a serial
unaliver.
Yes.
Sorry, I was gonna say this asshole. This guy's playing me dumb like a fiddle, and it's like I knew it at the time. And again, I don't need to explain myself. Whatever, it is what it is. I'm just too nice in this.
Who, via the name, bind, torture, Schmill.
Yep.
And so I don't think that other than the fact that this was a one-off incident, I mean, I don't see a whole lot of similarities.
So
okay, so I want you to hold that thought real quick, Bertie. In the beginning, this was just a abbing, an unaliving. Mm-hmm. Now it's come out, and I saw it in the documents in an article early on. Now Steve just confirmed it was a I don't think.
Hang on, at Cryptic Conversions, it wasn't a graduate level scientific survey. Are you talking about the Reddit survey? The Reddit survey did link to a board approved survey. So he was on Reddit looking for people to submit this survey anonymously, but when they would click the link did go to the actual studies survey link. Oh, you're saying the same thing. Okay. My bad. That's why I didn't know what that meant. I was just making sure I understood that.
I can say it. You can't beat a dead horse, right? It was in that context of that word.
Steve, now, as in Kaylee's dad?
Yep.
Yes, Kaylee's father.
Okay.
Now the rumor is now, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but wait until court, that she was also I don't know how to say it.
She isn't.
Yes.
So yes. So there's definitely more to it than just a simple college town unaliving, in my opinion. So and Phoenix, I just want to kind of get through it, and then I think that we can bring that up when we get to the part where he's in Idaho. But going back to it, right? So there's this connection with the serial unaliver. It's really not.
Hold on, buddy.
It's really not that he studied under the serial unaliver. It's that his professor had close ties with DOJ, DHS, and again, was regularly teaching back how this guy who did these heinous crimes thought. And Kohberger said it underneath her. Kohberger's survey that he put on Reddit, it's word for word, actually. I have it here. Dude, I hate to keep pausing this, but I'm also like, not only did I forget about that entire BTK and the daughter thing, Kohberger survey, listen to what I end up saying here. I went so deep on the funding and this survey. That was like, that's what I've always said. I'm not like a true crime fan. Like I look into these cases, but it's like, I'm more of like a, what's going on in the background behind the headlines? Like, where are the backroom deals being made? Where's the funding going? Follow the money. I totally forgot about this too with the survey. It's almost word for word from a DARPA handbook, which is like a third-party subcontractor of the DOJ. And it's questions that are just like slightly changed almost to where it's like you wouldn't want to get caught for plagiarism. And I have some examples. Oh, did he? So I don't know if you could hear that all, but
my Wi-Fi was kicked out for a second. So
you're good.
The last 45 seconds, I didn't catch anything. Also, someone was saying I was speaking Spanish to my kids. I was speaking Portuguese, and that's because my wife is Brazilian.
Boom. He was speaking what? Oh,
so someone was saying I was speaking Spanish to my kids. I was speaking Portuguese, and that's because my wife is Brazilian. So I don't know if you're still doubting that I'm from Moscow. I don't know why.
No. I got
somebody
it.
in the chat was.
I knew what you were saying.
So, okay. I believe what's more important is not that it's the connection that, oh, Bryan Kohberger studied underneath somebody who studied a serial unaliver. Now Bryan Kohberger wants to go and replicate that serial unaliver. I think it's more important to understand how important, how many times did I just say important? I think it's important to understand that Kohberger is being taught by one of the best who worked with the DOJ and the DHS in studying how heinous criminals would think. And everyone wanted to talk about his Reddit survey. And then you look up the DARPA handbook. And for example, Kohberger's survey question says, before making your move, how did you approach your target? The DARPA handbook says, describe how you identified your target outside the initial sequence. And you follow these all the way down, and it's literally like you copy your buddy's paper and it's like, hey, just change it enough so I don't get caught. What's your initial action? What was the first move that you made in order to accomplish your goal? So on and so forth, where even down to the ones where it's like, how did you feel during, before, and after the crime? So what that tells me is like Kohberger was this criminology student who was only one of two students that got recommended by this professor to go to Washington State. Now, remember, this professor has very close ties with DOJ and DHS to the point where I think that she would know, I think it's plausible that she would know that Washington State is about to start receiving millions of dollars from the NIJ, which is the DOJ's research arm. For
The NIJ, what is that an acronym for?
What is it actually? So I don't. The National Institute of Justice.
Okay, all right.
So,
yeah.
So I believe that it's not unreasonable to think that that professor would know that, recommend him for it, and it's to study predictive criminal behavior. So what does that kind of summarize? It's like, oh, we're gonna try to figure out how criminals think, predict their behavior, and then stop it before it happens. So then you go and you look into this funding, which I just had it pulled up, unless it's.
So, I mean, both U of I and WSU are grant schools. They receive hundreds and hundreds of different grants and different funding from all sorts of different things. And so them getting funding is not abnormal at all.
Right. Every college gets funding. But what are the chances that Bryan Kohberger transfers schools? He's not even there 3 months to a school that gets these millions of dollars of funding. And not only did they study predictive criminal behavior, it was predictive criminal behavior in emerging adults in a non-clinical setting, which pretty much means they're going to study college-age kids outside of the classroom, either willing or unwilling, with that study going on. And there's other technologies that are being used, like geofencing. There's like an AI aspect to it, but regardless, so that's going on so how weird is it that Bryan Kohberger goes to the school that's getting millions of dollars to study predictive criminal behavior in pretty much like what a Kohberger would be. And so the guy studying in the department that got that funding goes and does this crime. Now the crime is over, and Idaho now gets millions of dollars of federal funding from the STOP Act to prevent violent acts of crime from happening on campus where the kids went. 10 minutes away, the dude where the money came to was the unaliver and went and did it. And then where the students went to school is now where they're getting the millions of dollars for the STOP Act.
I think you're grasping at, I'm trying to be disrespectful at all, but I think you're grasping at straws. I think that you are connecting things that are not connected.
Can I ask you seriously? Is this a serious question? Like, so you said you've never seen any of my videos. You've never seen a conspiracy thing. You just so happen to be from Moscow. You kind of seem like you a little, and I'm giving you credit. You kind of seem like you hustled us a little bit as if you didn't know much about the case, saying their name wrong at first. But now you're knowing all about the funding and all of the IT. If I ask you if you're a cop, you have to tell us, Alpha.
No, I'm not a cop. But what I'm saying, I forgot her name for a second. I haven't been. When it first started, I was following it daily. Now it's getting closer to the trial, and I'm just like at the point, like, let's just wait and see. Because I believe that there's going to be so much more damning evidence that comes out when the trial starts.
So you had said I was grasping at straws.
Mm-hmm.
I would say grasping at straws from stuff in court documents, since not that you don't want to look at conspiracies. I appreciate you. Thank you, Pierre. I look at the fact that I was hitting the vape during that, and it's like I get the ick from myself. You know, I'm not saying that this is better, but I feel incredible. I've lost weight. I'm running every day. You know, I always like worked out and stuff, but I always used to think like, oh, that whole vape thing, like it doesn't affect me because I had done it for so long. Dude, I feel like a new man. It's awesome. But whenever I see that shit on camera, I'm like, damn, I did hella lives just sucking that vape like a fiend, dude. I know. I am being down on myself. I'm judging myself hard. Yeah. Chad, you know, it's funny you say that. I said that to my wife. I said, dude, I didn't call my wife dude, but I was like, I feel way more attentive. Like, I know it's almost 3 a.m. Central Time, but you know, I had a coffee and a bubbler energy drink. I just feel way more clear headed, and it's weird because I vaped for so long, you know, but ever since that stream, I genuinely said, this is my last vape. And I knew too, also, like, this is a little bit corny, but I'm like, it's hard to go, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours on stream and not hit that. So it's not like I could really, at that point, even make it a stream without hitting it every what seemed like 5 minutes whenever I would edit it. You know, it was, I don't know, a weird insecurity of like editing around hitting the vapes, which is whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I did it for so long. It didn't faze me. But now when I look back at it, I'm just like, man, hella Geek Bars. You know, Geek Bar was a password of mine. Okay. I don't use it anymore. But at one point for a vendor credential, I used Geek Bar. Okay. Like, that's crazy. Hear me out. Touch DNA on a sheath, but no murder weapon. no photo evidence of the guy who's about to get put in front of a pew pew squad in the car, no really other evidence that shows signs of exit, entry, no multiple other people's DNA. The roommate sees the victim on the ground, texts her roommates, goes on social media, goes on Indeed, the other roommate makes phone calls to her parents. Students are at the house before the cops show up, and there's an 8-hour delay. That's grasping at straws.
100%. As far as the girls not calling police immediately, I mean, people deal with trauma differently, but I can't see how that's possible. I don't see how you call other people over first, and you're right. No way to explain why their police weren't immediately called. I think it's more likely that Kohberger was antisocial. He was very intelligent, and he wanted to test his intelligence. He wanted to see if he could commit the quote, the perfect crime.
Such a simp narrative. Genuinely. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn about the whole quitting smoking thing, but it feels damn good. So I also have no problem. I gotta give myself credit. I'm actually very proud of myself for it, for saying it and then doing it, you know. Going back to what Alpha Kenny is saying, he wanted to commit the perfect crime. Give me a break. This guy made every stupid mistake you could make.
Why was all of the phone data? I mean, there's no explanation for why his phone turned off, why it turned on at those specific times, why then he took the route he did to go back to his house. And during that time, it's very easily he could have gotten rid of the Schmurder weapon and nobody would ever find it. There's nothing but fields out there. He just has to go dig 6 inches down in a field and nobody's ever going to find it.
Yeah, that's true.
Moscow doesn't have all these cameras like most cities do. Most of the cameras are like Ring doorbell cameras or gas station cameras. So there's not a whole lot of camera evidence or video evidence that is possible in this case.
My question,
I mean, I'm surprised that there's even those little bits of video evidence. I mean, and the guy who turned in the video evidence, his last name is
well, I don't know if you want to say his last name.
It's public. It's Francetic. And I went to school with his son too. And so
so why then, from your perspective, if we go with so pretty much you're agreeing with the 90% of the mainstream narrative, but you're also just like, yeah, it's weird that the roommates didn't call the cops. So my question then is, how do you explain, if this is such a straightforward college town unaliving by a single incel loner criminology student who went in there, unalived 4 people with a K-bar in under 20 minutes with no signs of exit or entry, why is there so many court redactions, gag orders, sealed indictments, sealed camera footage, and all this other sealed evidence? And how would that make sense in this type of case? And I would argue it can't just be brutality and it can't just be high profile, because if anything, high profile cases have more leaks, and also the brutality of it, all unalivings are brutal. There's been mass, I can't say the S word, and there's also been mass pew-pewings, and there's not even been this level of it.
You're right. But because this is such a relatively small community, I believe that all these gag orders and everything are in order to ensure that there is zero
possibility for having a improper jury selection or him not being able to have a fair jury selection. Because if that happens, then everyone's already impartial and everybody already has an opinion. Like,
I agree with that. I could see that, but I'm also saying, again, this isn't the normal. It's not, I mean, this is like, you got a CIA level PR team working this thing. And another aspect of it is, how come then for the first time in American court, so in over 200 years, that the defendant has to prove a reasonable suspect? That should be the state's job. And then you look at
sorry, say that again. The defendant has to prove a reasonable.
So the judge said that because they don't want any surprises in the trial, that they want the defense.
I know, but he was transferred from Latah County to Ada County. Is it the Ada County judge saying this, or?
I believe it was before the transfer. Yes.
So that would be the Latah County then.
Is that right, Phoenix? That's correct.
I believe it was before his transfer, but the current judge is Judge Hippler.
Yeah, yes. And that's Ada County.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say, though, is the bigger picture is that the defense should never have to show a different reasonable suspect. The defense's job is to just show that there's.
I don't think that they have to. I think that's their only out. That's the only way that they're going to provide the jury with reasonable doubt that it was not him. And that's what the jury is like, beyond a reasonable doubt.
But that's what a court is for and what a trial is for, correct?
You're right. And that's the only way that Kohberger's team is going to get him off, is if they provide reasonable doubt. And the only reasonable doubt is by providing another who did it.
Right.
I don't think that's the only way they're going to get him to or show the jury that he's not guilty. I think the 2 to 3 minute time frame to actually do these unalivings is going to lend it to themselves to see, per the court documents, the testimony, the timelines, the text messaging, Snapchats. He had 2 to 3 minutes to get out of there, but yet his vehicle was seen somewhere else.
I mean, so I've looked at some maps and I don't know the validity of them, but
this part right here is probably the most sus part of the interview.
Basically shows where he drove and how he drove there. And I mean, based off of his cell phone records, it was shown that he knew the area. He had been there. I mean, how many times before they caught?
Was it 23?
Go ahead.
23.
And it was within 100 feet of that house. So there is somebody that he may have known that lived around the corner.
But so as of now, the defense hasn't said that. They have not claimed that he knew somebody in the area. Do you believe that that's going to be something that they're going to say or try to say?
I believe that it's not an unreasonable defense to say, if they could prove that he's actually acquainted with.
You're right. If he had a friend there, but then again, that friend's going to testify, and I don't believe he has a friend there. I don't believe he's going to get.
What if I told you from the court documents and court records that are all public in regards to all these people that live in that area that have known associates, that these people have had, you know how to look up a criminal record, right? Very easy. You know how to look up a name in the I-court system. Some of these people had connections that had plea deals that may be able to say and testify, yes, we know him. Yes, we know where he was. Isn't it the media's job to defame, slander, and just diminish this guy's name as much as they can to make him look like he did this in 2 to 3 minutes?
No, the media's job is to sell stories.
And it sounds like they've sold you pretty good.
Yeah. Where did you get? Yeah, respectfully. Yes.
I mean, just based off looking at all of the evidence against him, there's no other reason for him to have been there 23 times before. There's no other reason for his cell phone to have turned off 20 minutes before the murder.
For the cell phone.
Sorry
to interrupt.
Yes.
There's
But when when you said he's been there 23 times, did you see him there 23 times?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that his cell phone says he was there 23 times. That's what Bertie just said, right?
Well, I'm agreeing with you that that's like what they're going with is like, see, this proves it. But again, as far as concrete evidence, DNA is on the sheath. They had to send it to 2 different labs, and it comes back without the chain of custody, and it's doubled in size.
I mean, I don't know anything. I can't go into that. I can't say that, oh, they planted more evidence but again, how many people would have to be in on this?
Not that many.
For people to plant evidence, it would have to be one of the first cops, right? One of the local PD.
Yep. And it's happened many times.
In Moscow, it has not.
Or maybe it was the cleanup crew, if we're being very transparent.
Again, but there would be Latah County employees, correct?
No, there is an expert witness. Well, no, there is an expert witness that took a look at everything and says that there could be 2 to more perpetrators that did this, and there was a window of opportunity for a cleanup.
Right. And when I was saying right, Phoenix, I was about to make another point, not necessarily agreeing with that. But I also think, too, I mean, there's been some scandals about the police out there that you can just do a simple Google search.
I'm trying to think of one. I really am. I mean, and if you can show me evidence of something, I mean, to this scale of police corruption in the area, please, I would be very interested in learning about it.
So I want to dive into something else as far as, and it's going to continue going along with just like the evidence and the DNA and the suspicious roommate behavior. Have you heard any of the theories about potentially being protected individuals, either WITSEC or informants in that house?
No, I have not heard those.
Okay.
I just, they were prior WITSEC. Is that what you're
He got a little bit sus back then.
implying?
2 of the victims, or I guess 2 of the people that lived in the house more so. Their parents cooperated with, so Xana and Bethany.
Okay. Their parents cooperated with
in some sort of like, whether it was a narco human trafficking ring and then a rug case. And that was what I guess you could call it, like the TikTok true crime world heard too, is that this was a rug. Let me explain. This was, again, a working theory that I had back then, which is that these people, the odds of them being put into this house together with their parents having those priors, just in general, you look into the background of all their parents, I'm like, what are the odds that all these kids are living in the same house together? So I was trying at this point to piece together and try to do some digging on those odds, and not only just the odds they all live together that have parents with priors. Then this happens. I'm like, dude, this seems like a safe house, some sort of WITSEC house. They would put them all together so they could surveil them all very easily, keep them safe, easier, right? Like that was my theory back then. So that's why I had said that, just to clarify. Bug hit because one of those kids' parents put some people in jail and they got out, and they found out that they were the ones that flipped, and so they did a hit on their kids.
No, I have not heard that, but can you give me more information on what exactly, I guess, happened prior with regards to Bethany and you said Maddie, their parents being involved in some sort of quote unquote, I mean, snitching, I guess, to law enforcement? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, again, that's the rumors of it. So I'm just asking
so-
more so, have you heard anything? I feel like what's kind of
I have not heard anything in regards to that. No.
I gotta say, man. Oops, I'm sorry if you guys hear that. It's because I haven't clicked on my computer. I guess I gotta tell you, like, I've had a lot of people claim that they were like locals and whatnot, and you're the first local that has reached out and said, I don't think anything else is going on, and he's this. So I can appreciate you coming up here and defending your position. Again, I hope you can understand, like, we can agree to disagree. At the end of the day,
I've got an old ID that has my old address on it. I can show you if you want to see that.
look, I mean, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't need to see it, but I do appreciate you being willing to come up here and duke it out. And like I said, that's kind of like what we Phoenix and I have tried hard to do, and not just kick people because they disagree. But isn't that so funny to look back? And it's like, I've not changed my mindset on that. It's been like, I don't want to have a chat where people can't disagree. Like, that's such a soft mindset. I'll always lean into that. Now, one of the reasons I've gotten away from having people that strongly disagree is because the conversation ends up going nowhere. Because typically the person that you bring up, they don't know how to converse. They don't know how to have a discussion. You know what I mean? They end up getting too emotionally triggered. And that's not me being on some high horse. That could be with any debate. Most people just can't debate for an extended period of time. I agree. He sounds like a cop for sure. Miss Shunte. Sorry if I said that wrong. Will say,
I don't know if you can see that. I'm just showing it to you.
no, it won't let you, because I don't think you can do your camera. It's only audio.
It won't let me show my.
I don't know if it will.
Yeah, and you should never share your personal information.
This is an old address.
Yeah,
I don't live there anymore.
I would
I'm covering up my
never.
name. So, but you see Moscow, Idaho, right there.
Yep.
So,
oh, there he is. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Alpha Kenny, and I will say that there is a slight suspicion that I have that you might be a Fed, and you're just pushing the news. I feel like I was talking to somebody who
I am not a Fed. I can tell you.
Well, you should
mean-
definitely be honored.
Yeah.
We love having you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for letting me talk. Just one other point, if you don't mind, just one before I go.
Sure.
There is, again, I don't think that all of this behind, I mean, all these different theories that you guys are coming up and throwing at, again, there has to be multiple different parts.
Which, by the way, can I just say, he said he's never tuned into a live. He's never seen me before. He had no idea. He just randomly stumbled on, requested to come up. All these theories. Have we talked about really a theory? Or have I just really asked him about like rumors that have been going on? How have you not heard this being a local? I didn't go into one theory. And if you can tell by my face, I know exactly what he's doing right now. He's not letting himself get off the phone.
Parties involved. And not only on the federal level, but on the judicial level of local and the executive law enforcement level of local as well.
Wait a minute. You just said this was a conspiracy theory, that you didn't believe that Bryan did this. Now you're saying there's a higher level involved?
The FBI was involved, were they not? The FBI helped out on the case, yes?
Well, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
I get. So it did kind of sound like what Phoenix was saying, but I guess.
No, I'm sorry. I meant like because the FBI was involved. The FBI helped out on finding this. The FBI was the one who coordinated his return and coordinated the raid of his house, right?
Kenny, within 8 hours, they had 44 feds flown in, 44 plus, to do investigations on hundreds of the people at the frats.
This was a huge thing for such a small town, and things like that don't happen. And there are Spokane, Washington.
Dude, there's got to be is there like a Moscow email chain that got sent out to just repeat that point? Things like that don't happen here in Moscow, Idaho. Right? I mean, what are the chances that every single person in every single interview says that?
Has a, and which is very close, it's like an hour and a half away, has an FBI base there. And so, and they have flights to Moscow Pullman Airport from Seattle, from Boise daily. And so it's not a huge thing to have. I mean, 44 sounds like a lot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm taking your word on that. But the Moscow Police Department was very unequipped to deal with something of this measure. Like I said, the last murder they had was 10 years ago, and it was nothing like this. They immediately knew who that was. And so they've never had to do an investigation of this. I mean, just something of this sorts or this magnitude. So they were very unequipped to do it. So they had the state police come in first, I believe, and then the feds.
So, but how would they know that they were unequipped to do it within 8 hours?
Because 4 people were
I get that,
unalived,
how do they
and they
not
had
know
no
that?
idea who did it.
Right, but I'm saying within 8 hours, you're telling me that all of the crime scene photos were taken, any evidence was examined. For all we know, there could have been the smoking pew of evidence that was sitting right inside the front door where they would have had the resources to do that. I understand what you're saying from the magnitude of it and the brutality of it, but what if you took out the high profile nature that it was all over the news right away? And what if you took out what if you just took out all of the creepy stuff about it being Kohberger? And I would say, there's cases like this that, there's multiple unalivings every weekend in some cities that don't get the feds called in within 8 hours.
Yeah, because they have multiple. It's not uncommon for that to happen.
But
And
let
they
me give some statistics here to bring it back to logic. Moscow Police Department has over 35 commissioned police officers on staff. These officers provide around the clock service to Moscow and the University of Idaho.
I mean, that's all police. All police departments are around the clock, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I believe there is logical holes, and I can understand that you're set that this is Kohberger and Kohberger only. I will say that for being local, to only really repeat what everybody's heard on CNN or MSNBC or Fox is strange to me.
I mean, I have friends who are lawyers who are inside the Latah County Courthouse daily. I have had interactions with Judge Judge. I mean, he's not saying this outright, but Judge Judge believes that this is Kohberger. And so,
how did
go ahead.
I was going to say, so I saw that you just kind of had followed me when this live started. And again, you hadn't seen any of my videos.
Nope.
Do you just randomly pick creators that disagree with the narrative and ask to come up and say that you're local? I'm just confused as to
this is my first time ever being on a live. I've never been on a live before.
How did you come across this?
I was scrolling through TikTok. I saw it says topic Idaho 4 breakdown. It piqued my interest. I started listening, and you guys started talking about some stuff that was a little out of sorts, in my opinion, just a little crazy, in my opinion. And as somebody who
as far as the majority of people who
Yeah, this dude's a cop for sure. Listening back on it now, he's for sure. Dude, he's either some sort of cop or like, I don't know how you just randomly find this. And it's like, this is my first time joining a live. Give me a break.
know about this case, I would say that I'm more equipped to speak about the people of Moscow, how Moscow works, the police department, all of that.
So, Kenny, let me ask you a question. You said you were working for the property management company. You knew the layout of that house, correct?
Yeah, I've been in the house.
You also said it wouldn't be hard to take that route and bury the murder weapon.
No, it wouldn't. You drive out, like on the way to Uniontown, you're driving south of town towards Lewiston, you head west towards Uniontown. That's nothing but fields. It'd be
And you
very,
also have a criminal background?
yeah.
And you live local.
I
You've met
live
the
in
roommates.
Spokane now.
But you've met the roommates.
I met them because I showed them the house.
And you lived there a very long time.
Yep, I was born there.
And
Went to
you're
school
very-
there.
You're very trusting because you tried to show us your ID.
I mean, what are you guys going to do with an old expired ID of where I'd no longer live?
I don't know. Some would say it's a little
But
suspicious.
how would you even get the idea of burying anything? Did you read
if I
that?
was to try and dispose of a murder weapon, sorry, I apologize. Schmurder weapon, that's what I would do. And especially if the way that it is shown that he left the scene and the route is correct on the way he did it, it is the most probable, the most probable
I agree.
case.
I agree. What kind of car do you drive?
A white Elantra, why? Get out of here.
You're messing with us. You gotta be.
No, obviously. Yeah, obviously. No, I don't drive a white Elantra.
Well, I gotta tell you though,
I'm dying over here. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
it has been fun, and this is good. This is good. But also, again, I just want to reiterate, I'm shocked when I saw that you were like, I've worked for the property management company, I've met the roommates, I've shown them the house, I've been.
I mean, I'll tell you something that's a little bit more revealing. My mother owns the property management company.
You know a lot of people in that town.
Yeah. So what did guys again? What are the odds? Okay, this is like when I was brand new streaming on TikTok that this guy, like, what are the chances that he finds my TikTok live? Which, by the way, TikTok live, if you don't know, it works way different than YouTube. It's all your FYP. I was not on a regular schedule at this point. It was random. And this is his first live he's ever joined. Baited us in. His mom owns the property management company. He gave Kaylee and Maddie a tour. He says it would be really easy to take the route that Kohberger did and bury the weapon because it's all fields out there. He's been underneath the house. He knows everybody. He knows Judge. He goes to all the bars. This is the wildest thing. And like, I honestly, it's like weird to think about. It's honestly, no, his mom does own it. That's a fact. We checked that out. So whoever just said his mom doesn't own shit, you can look that up. He does. We got his license. When he showed his face, we got his license and we got his last name. The address is expired, but like we know everything. We went deep. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. He was out of country for a couple months. He's injured. His wife's doing a GoFundMe for the 3 months right after the unalivings. There's a lot of shit. Okay, Brian. Then so if she doesn't own it, then who does? Doesn't own the house. We're not talking about Green. We're talking about the management company, not the owners of the property, Brian. Just to clarify, Brian. We're not talking about the owners. So again, I don't remember his last name off the top of my head. I have the screenshot on my phone. I could show you. I'm not going to show you his license. There's a reason why we said don't do it, don't do it, don't show us your license. Like, why would we ever do that? But what is your point? Are you trying to like say, oh, okay, yeah, we understand that it's not the okay, you know exactly what we're talking about. Christ, it's too late for this. I've been up for too long. My first live went to hell. If you guys want to watch this, I'll put this this link in the chat. That's the full interview. Okay, I'll keep an eye out, Brian. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, also too, like, this entire thing is weird. Okay. The entire thing is weird. Yeah. Well, so it is what it is. Guys, this was quite the stream. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry if you were on the first live. That first live, I was in the zone. I was ready to go. I'm so sorry that the mic and my computer froze up. I will be on at some point today. It's crazy to think that that will typically be in 7 hours. Keep an eye. I can't shotgun it. No way. I ain't doing that. Your boy is exhausted. I love you guys. I hope you sleep great. Thank you for tuning in. Cheers, everyone.